Hello, and we're going to begin the challenge today. We're going to actually attempt to place some red prison in the challenge. It's been quite a while since we've had the opportunity to go ahead and play this. We're going to be taking the list that we've had the most success with, which is our 7 moon list, having a couple 5-0s recently, and so figured, hey, this must be the list we go and take in. The list is as you see it on the screen. We've got 7 moons, 3 bridges, 4 chalices. Those are our lock pieces. And then we have Chandras and Karns, Seasoned Pyromancers, Angers, and Bone Crushers. A very interactive deck. Got a few Rabble Masters here on the sideboard just to make things a little more aggressive when we need to. Otherwise, it's pretty stock list for the Red Prison at this point with the Karn package and artifacts. I am going to play this Darksteel Citadel here. This could be good or this could be bad. I mean, I could probably swap this for something else, but we've had this for the last few times, so we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Maybe Karn ramping out is not a bad idea to help empty the hand. That being said, it's Red Prison. We're going to go ahead and take it in the challenge. See you in our first match, which should happen in about 30 seconds. We'll see how this goes. Looks like we've got about 127 folks, probably going to get up to about 140, 150. There's usually about 10 or 20 that join right at the end as well. We'll see. Been a while. We'll see who we run into. Hopefully they don't fetch for basics. That's the idea. Modern Challenge, December 19th, the Saturday one, here in Modern. Red Prison. Oh yeah. I think I've got everything set up. Mike's looking good. Let's go. Match number 1. About 130 people. Not too bad. Shouldn't be too long. Shouldn't be too long. And we get to play first. Like that. Let's play first. Let's see here. We don't know what our opponent's up to. We've got a turn 3 Chandra here. Not entirely sure if this is worthwhile. It's tough to keep this, but I could top deck something nice. And Chandra can do some good removing if we get to do that. Turn 3. I think I've convinced myself to go ahead and keep just because it's the first match here. We have no idea what we're running into. Chandra could be useful. The ramp is nice in case I get a Blood Moon off the top, and since we have more than 4 in this game, it's certainly plausible we do that. We'll lead with Mountain and pass the turn. See what our opponent's up to. All right, Cavernous Souls. This could be humans or spirits. They name humans and they name an Aether Vial. All right. Nothing I have really at the moment would be just game breaking. We'll go ahead and put a Chalice on 1. That's not going to stop too much at the moment. However, if I get a Karn or something else here, we'll be in great shape. I actually kind of like that I have the Simian Spirit Guide, so I can get a Chandra out around a Thalia. See if they kept a 1-lander. Sometimes they do that. A couple Caverns here, so Chalice is a bit silly. 2 mana, and we're going to see Thalia. No worries here from us. Couple Gemstones we get to wait here due to Thalia. That being said, I've got back-to-back Chandras, so this is looking fairly good for us. Opponent's got 4 cards. Remember, they did mulligan, so we've got a little bit of an edge there. Draws their 5th card for the game. It's really interesting because if I would have gone for that Blood Moon or looking for it, it would have been decent, but it wouldn't have stopped them completely. Got a Thalia's Lieutenant here, going to grow Thalia Guardian. Even if they have another Thalia's Lieutenant here, this isn't going to grow too high. Opponent attacks for 3, and we go to 17. This is an excellent draw here. It's an excellent draw, although they get the Kite Sail Freebooter here. We'll see what they wish to take here. It's got to be the Anger, I presume. If it's anything short of this Anger, it's no good for them. And realistically, we have kind of plenty of time here. Might even take the Thalia's Lieutenant with the Chandra this time around. Definitely want to kill something here. If we kill this and top deck a new Anger, that wouldn't be bad. We could kill this and get our Anger back. If there's two creatures here, this gets difficult to kill. Not impossible, though. Might be just take Kitesail Freebooter and see what happens. It also could be just kill Thalia here and just not worry about it. Something's going to have to attack this. This can only grow one more time. If they don't have another way to get the anger out of my hand, we're looking good. We'll go ahead and take the anger here. It does mean I take a little bit more this coming turn, but I'm probably losing Chandra here to one of these. So we're saving ourselves probably 3, maybe 4 points here if they have another Thalia's Lieutenant. Anger is just a cleaner way to clean up the board here. And if my opponent has a Meddling Mage, we have the Chandra to get rid of that. That being said, if Meddling does come down, Thalia's Lieutenant gets really weird here. Alright, so it looks like we're pretty happy with this. At this point, I'd probably just anger. I know I'm not getting rid of Thalia's Lieutenant here, but that's kind of okay. I get rid of the rest of the board. A little 4/4 doesn't worry me that much. Depending on how they attack here, too, I could just Chandra Thalia's Lieutenant and not worry about what's going on. Attack to me for 4 and 3 in. See what's the top deck. It's a Ritual. So this is about to get out of range. If I kill this, I take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 perhaps, which is about half of our life total. Probably the safer thing to do here is go ahead and kill the Thalia's Lieutenant here with the Chandra, which means I'll lose the Chandra. But our anger is looking really good. And I feel like they would have retaken the anger here not to lose part of their board if they had the Freebooter. Again, Meddling Mage and Freebooter are the danger cards here. We'll see if they get any of these. If not, we're going to be board wiping them. Because they know the anger, they may wait to do something like a Mantis Rider. 3, 4, 5 in, and 2 at Chandra. No worries here. Pretty expected. Down to 8. About to play something else here. Ancient Ziggurat and an unknown card. This is an excellent follow-up here. We'll go ahead and anger the gods and pass the turn. My opponent plays nothing off their Aether Vial, feeling very, very strong here. Although we're at 8, I have a feeling they have nothing. That or they have a 2-drop or something that they didn't want to put in, and it wasn't Meddling or Freebooter. We've been given the turn back. Chandra down. Up for damage. I'm going to say no to the Chalice and pass turn. Looks like my opponent's probably flooding out. We are in a position that I'm pretty happy with. Let's see if my opponent does anything here. Even a Mantis Rider is not terribly scary. Mantis Rider. Attack Chandra down to 2. Let's see here. We can go up with this Chandra. I could also go up with the mana. I think I go up with Chandra, but I'm going to use a Desperate Ritual first. So up to see what else we get. It's a gemstone. We'll play new Chandra. And we'll down tick on the Mantis Rider and pass the turn. Keeping the board fairly clear here. Don't want a phantasmal image showing up, being able to copy the Mantis Rider. Don't need extra threats here. I have Simian Spirit Guide to be blocking if we get to that point as well. Looking okay here. Really just need some way to stop my opponent from attacking me. And not an anger, but a bridge would be nice. Blood Moon probably wouldn't be bad either. Stop some of the stuff that's happening here. Thalia's Lieutenant. We do have a blocker for this. This Chalice isn't really worth it. Let's go ahead and uptick here, looking for bridge. We find a Magus. We'll actually go ahead and play that Magus. I think we're okay to hold Chalice, because now I could put... Well, I don't really need to put Chalice really on anything. They basically have an Aether Vial here, and they have a Thalia's Lieutenant. This first attack I probably can't block. I'm surprised they didn't go for that. Let's go up for damage. We see a Bone Crusher Giant. I'm going to go ahead and stomp the Thalia's Lieutenant here. The I think I'm going to go ahead and put the Bone Crusher Giant actually into play here. I don't want to run the Magus accidentally into something on 3. Reflector Mage is a little bit frightening. If we can get this Chandra up to 5 or 6, I think we'll be fairly good here. Bone Crusher Giant doesn't kill too much that's on 3. Let's go up for damage. Blood Moon, we can skip that. Let's go combat. Bone Crusher Giant in. I think I'll just pass the turn, feeling fairly safe here. We'll probably Bone Crusher Giant them. Again, I'm not sure Bone Crusher Giant can kill anything that's at 3. At least nothing that I'm worried about. Down to 8 my opponent goes. Top of the library is a Ramunot. And the top of the Chandra is another Chalice. Replay the Bone Crusher Giant, swing for 4, and put them at 4. At 8, with 2 Bone Crushers, we got that game number 1. All right. Well, we've got a few things to bring in here. Not a whole lot. Basically, we're going to dump the Seasoned Pyromancers, Pithing Needle, Anger the Gods, and Abrade. Torp Orb is going to remain in the sideboard for a Karn to fetch, although Torp Orb coming down immediately is also pretty decent and could be worth it. What we're going to do is leverage, though, that we have Karns and Pithing Needles to stop Aether Vial, and then we'll have Blood Moons to stop basically what they're playing. A few Bone Crusher Giants, Abrades, and Angers here to sweep up everything else, and we've got a bridge to close out the game. Let's go. Shouldn't be too difficult here. We are on the draw, and we are up a game. All things good and considered. Let's go. Let's play game number 2. We are the 7 moon list. 7 moons. Lucky 7. It's early in the morning. All right, game number 2. Fast acceleration with a Bone Crusher Giant would be nice. That's fast acceleration into a Blood Moon with Bone Crusher. Probably the best hand would be, I was going to say, a Braid or some way to kill, and a Blood Moon here. I think we can definitely keep this. It's probably just get rid of the, honestly, probably the Chandra. At the same time, we're probably okay with everything else. Let's just get rid of a land. We'll hit that next land here. We can basically Abrade the first thing they play and then follow it up with a Blood Moon. Worst thing for us is to see Athalia and never that 4th land. We'll be okay, though. Sunbaked Canyon for our opponent, and Aether Vial. Easy Aether Vial kill right here. We are in really good shape. Simeon Spirit Guide was literally the best draw there. We'll see what the Sunbaked Canyon brings, and then we'll have ourselves a Blood Moon here. This game should be just about done. Just about done. My opponent may be looking for a new Aether Vial, but this may be the door that we needed. Especially that I am now ramping out a Chandra here on turn 3 and going for damage. Good luck, opponent. We need a Karn, Bridge, or Pithing Needle, and the door will be shut. Humans. There's the Aether Vial. We get a Bone Crusher Giant. Looking for Karn. No Karn, no Gemstone. We'll continue on. We're going to leave ourselves Bone Crusher Giant open. This is so that we can kill a Noble Hierarch or something at 1. Basically, we just need Chandra here, so we'll probably kill and place something to defend from something hasty at 2, which I don't think they have. And then we'll end the game here, just emblem strategies. Absolute perfect top deck here would probably be Pithing Needle. Second best would be Karn. Would be happy to take either of those. Opponent goes to discard here. No real surprise there. They were planning to use Aether Vial. Freebooter. We hit a land. We can now stomp and replay it if I wanted to. I think it's still worth it to just do mana here, though, and play the monkey down for a defender, and then use Bone Crusher Giant to kill something like a Noble Hierarch. We'll get the replay of the Bone Crusher Giant because it'll be in exile here. Whatever this is, it just can't be dangerous enough here. We'll stomp. I don't want them to randomly have something that gets rid of Simian Spirit Guide. Got the emblem coming here. Got 4 lands in play. Got a 3-drop and a 3-drop. My opponent's basically at a virtual 5. Looking for one more spell off the top to conclude this game. And yes, we will emblem. No reason to let this go to 3 Mantis Rider and stop us. This is game ending. There is not a single card, I think, that would tell me, oh, okay, we're good with Chandra. Just carry on. Easy emblem here. Emblem. We're going to play a new Blood Moon here, just in case they have a way to bounce this Blood Moon. 5 upstairs. We have this 5, and we have this 5. All creatures left. Thalia is no problem here. Good games, opponent. This is now a formality at this point. Unless they somehow can gain a lot of life. Aether Vial here for 2. Okay, all right. Okay. Actually, Auriok Champion makes it a few more turns here. We should be okay still, though. They'll be gaining 1 life a turn. Mine will be gaining them a few lives as well. So best bet would be to find ourselves a Ritual or a Chandra here, or a Karn. All of these would not pump. This being said, they'll probably gain 1, so Rituals, Karns, or other things that aren't going to pump this will probably not end the game here. We probably have 3 turns to go. Maybe 4 if they gain a lot. They've got to do some real work here with this Auriok Champion, though. Keeping in mind that I could kill the Auriok Champion with a Chandra here before any of these enter, which maybe isn't a bad idea. Chandra's emblem is not red. It's colorless. 3-drop. Mantis Rider gains life and attacks me for 5. Here's a perfect example where we might have to, depending on what this top deck is. If I feel confident that I'm going to get there, we might not worry about it. All right, not as confident as I'd like to be. What we can do here is cast Bone Crusher. We can hit this for 5. This gains them a life, and then we can actually attack for 2. This puts them back to 10. They need to be careful how they're attacking. We got a balance here between killing things and finishing them off here. If a Reflector Mage shows up, that could be the literal worst thing. So they have no reason to be bouncing anything. If they Deputy, it's not a big problem. I play Simian Spirit Guide and kill the Deputy as well. Like I said, I believe it's a formality. It would take amazing top decks here and the Aether Vial doing just absolutely perfect things here for my human opponent to win. We could also flood out real hard. These are the things that get us to lose this game if we strictly flood out. But with a Simian Spirit Guide killing Auriok Champion and then perhaps just attacking with Bone Crusher Giant a whole bunch, that might just be enough to win the game anyway. Let's see what they do here. I can't imagine they have many options. I don't really care if the Auriok Champion comes in. It is defending well. There's our Desperate Ritual. So we do have the kill here. 1, 2, 3. Can we do this? 1, 2, 3. Simeon Spirit Guide comes into play. This kills. Five, and then Simeon Spirit Guide attack. They must block here. I'm trying to think if there's a way to do this so that I don't gain them the life and have to wait another turn. I'm not really sure there is, though. Let's do it this way. Cast Simeon Spirit Guide, kill Auriok Champion, attack for 6, and then Desperate Ritual. If they don't block, we're in good shape here. So they're going to get whatever this is, which will gain them a life. It's a Skyclave, which is fine. They target Bone Crusher. They gain a life. This lands. Let's go ahead and go to combat here. I'm pretty good with the trade here, if they want to. All right, we'll leave ourselves with a Desperate Ritual here. And now that we don't have an Auriok gaining them life, and I'm at 16 with a 2/2 that's not flying, I think we're okay. Aether Vial stays at 3 here. ETBs, something. Mantis Rider. We'll see what they want to do here. Attacks for 3 in the air. We'll just let that go, because Desperate Ritual plus any other spell is lethal. There we go. Alright, a bit of a weird way to get there. It took just a touch longer than we expected, but the emblem definitely here in the Blood Moon's getting us there. Double emblem, and there you have it. Humans taken down. Match 1 concluded. 1-0 in the challenge. We'll see you all in the next challenge match here. It'll be match number 2 in just a little while. Till then. And we're back. We're back. All right. Match 2, round 2 coming up here in the Modern Challenge here on the 19th. Playing some Red Prison here, as we can see. And we'll see who our next opponent is. First one being Humans. That was a good one. Good way to start out, too. Humans, it's really funny. That should be very favorable, but sometimes I'm sitting there and just don't quite get there. It's weird. Thalia can be quite the pain, but we got there. Blood Moon's taking it, and Angers. Good thing to have a few extra mainboard Angers that we did have. Match 2. Here we go. About 30 seconds out. Let's do it. All right, match 2. Here we go. You're going to get paired up here. We'll see if we're on the play or on the draw, and we'll see what kind of opening hand we have. Get to play first, always nice. We'll go first. We have a turn 2 Magus, we have Anger, and we have Karn. Not a bad hand, we'll go ahead and keep this. Magus is a little bit of the weaker of the Blood Moon effects just because it can be removed by, say, a Bolt. But if my opponent appears to be Prowess, we have the ability to just do Seasoned Pyromancer and get rid of the Magus. Let's see what our opponent's up to. Let's see if they keep their 7. Let's play some Magic. All right, my opponent keeps. Let's lead with Mountain and go. No real reason to lead with the Scavenger Grounds here. We want to represent potentially a Bolt. Flooded Strand. Definitely going to go ahead and do the... Well, nah. I think I'll still do the Magus here on the off chance that my opponent wants to path this. It would actually help us just a little bit. We'll see what they get with this Flooded Strand here. This does get through the Force of Negation as well that they might have. Basic planes here. This does resolve. We do have island and planes now. Let's go ahead and just lead with a Chalice on 1. Saves us from paths in the futures. Could slow my opponent down with Ops and Serum Visions. We do appear to have what is a blue-white control list thus far, although I'm seeing 2 planes here. Could be a number of things. Paying 2 here. It could be Remand, Counter, something like that. I will not attack, by the way, in fear of a Snapcaster Mage. I want to keep them off as much blue as possible here. I will attack if they do counter, though. Dovin Veto. Alright, they didn't like the Chalice on 1. So that makes me think it's Ops, Paths, Serum Visions. Could be a number of other things here. Anger the Gods looking like one of the worst cards in our hand at the moment. Flooded Strand for our opponent to Fairy and Bounce. They might do this. And they do. Alright, well... I think it's worth it to try to put the Magus back down here. Keeping them off of this. We'll see if they have a follow-up to Fairy. Teferi's going to go up to 2 here. Frantic Inventory for our opponent. So definitely this blue-white control list. It's going to be a tough one for us. We're not as aggressive as some of my other builds. Go ahead and go to combat here. Attack with the Magus at the Teferi. Let's get rid of that so it doesn't get up too high enough. Hoping there's no path, but they do have one. Alright. Still going to go ahead and put this Chalice down and pass turn. We are looking for a 4th land for Karn Liberated. My opponent does have Cryptic Command, though. It's going to be difficult for us to beat. We have Boils here and Rabble Masters, which we'll be bringing in. We'll drop basically Angers and probably something else. A couple fetches here with a Flooded Strand. Definitely on the back foot at this point in the game. Our Quick Blood Moon did work, but it didn't get enough just because I didn't get the Chalices down fast enough. Mystic Sanctuary to pick up a Dovin Veto here, which is a really decent card for them to have. I have a Teferi. Picks up the Dovin Veto, and now they're good and set here, having Dovin Veto in hand in snow-covered island and probably plains. Fortunately, I draw a Blood Moon that's just not going to be valuable here. To avoid Dovin Veto, we'll place these in Pyromancer. Anger the God and Bridge being pitched here. That means that it's going to be a tough game for us to win. Tough game for us to win. Go ahead and pass this back. So blue-white control is going to probably take game 1. I don't want to call it yet, but with 2 planeswalkers already on the battlefield on turn 5 for them, right on curve, and Teferi's both being able to bounce Blood Moons, which become less and less valuable, the opponent's got definitely a good shot at winning this. Bounces a Chalice with their Teferi. Time Raveler. Plays a Scalding Tarn, allowing them to pick up Path if they'd want to. When it goes to untap, doesn't appear to be doing anything special with that. Another Blood Moon. Got a few of those. Let's go ahead and hit this Teferi. When it paths, they're helping us ramp. That's sort of nice. I hate that I have so many Blood Moons here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and jam one of these. There's an option for holding up Scavenger Grounds. I don't think because I have the Singleton Karn, I want to play that into the Dovin Veto here that we know about. There goes the Dovin Veto hitting Blood Moon. They can just Mystic Sanctuary the Dovin Veto back. And then they draw if they want to. Looks like they just want to take a natural draw. Opponent has another Mystic Sanctuary, picks up Dovin Veto. So we have to beat Dovin Veto a dozen times over here. Dovin Veto back into hand. And it goes just straight to end step here. Well, I have a set of Blood Moons. We could try to play both of these. One's going to get vetoed, the other, who knows what it'll do. I think it's worth a shot here. We could also Blood Moon and leave Scavenger Grounds available. There's Dovin Veto number 1. Let's see what else they've got. Do you have another counterspell? I presume you do. We got to get through all these counterspells somehow. Is it Mystic Sanctuary, pick up Dovin Veto and do like an Opt here or Frantic Inventory? The only card we have to beat. Oh, they let that resolve. Maybe they're gonna bounce it. They don't. What? Oh. This is interesting. This is very interesting. I was surprised to see this land. Alright. We know it's Dovin Veto in hand. Let's go ahead and take care of Teferi here. Maybe I spoke too soon. Ooh. So Chalice doesn't make a whole lot of sense. My opponent doesn't get rid of an elemental here. I might just play a Seasoned Pyromancer and not even worry about trying to get Karn. You know what? Let's do that. And if they have a Remand or something, I get to replay it. Mana Leak's not scary either. Now we're flooding the board. Oh, I can't quite. I want to, but I know the veto's over there. We'll wait here. Maybe they'll tap out for me. Tap out some of that white. Ooh. Where are we going here, opponents? All of this can attack here. Oh, we found another island. So bridge is pretty useless right now. Very interesting. Very interesting where we're at. Blood Moon did resolve. I'm a little surprised that it did resolve. We're thinking in our second main here. We've been given more hope than we should have. They get to untap some stuff if they'd like to. Not really a reason probably to do so unless they're trying to Cryptic and then leave a Dovin Veto or something. Turn comes back to us. We need a Magus. Let's go ahead and go combat here. I think I just want to send everything at Teferi. Maybe that's incorrect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. We're gonna return and tap creatures. Okay. We have a veto. Let's replay Blood Moon here. This should get vetoed, and then I'll replay a Magus right behind this. We knew Cryptic was going to be a problem here. Obviously, Boil would be fantastic. They go get another island here. This does resolve. All right, so my opponent's got some nice islands here. They'd like more white here. They could bounce, but that loses their Teferi. We didn't Bone Crusher Giant because we knew about the Dovin Veto. We need kind of running Cryptics in some fashion, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't really attack with Magus in fear of all kinds of stuff. Chandra's really nice. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll throw a 1. Let's throw the rest at their face here. Kind of split the difference here. Wow, nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we'll try to jam a Chandra. Can't imagine this resolves. Bouncing in Magus now. Deprive. All right, we'll just pass the turn here. I've got quite a bit of damage here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. 9, 10. 9, 10, they bounce Magus. It's 2 here. It's 4 technically. I might have written this game off too quickly. That's why we continue to play. I mean, they basically have what they need. My only thing I could think of is that they have Terminus in hand and need this Prairie Stream, the double white. It's an opt. All right. I think at their end step, I fire off Bone Crusher Giant. Give it a shot here. Go for the lethal. Down to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is lethal. Okay, it's not quite lethal. It's not quite lethal, but if they bounce Magus at any point here, I got the Ramunot. I'm not even going to bother playing the Bone Crusher Giant. I was one off. Give me a break. It's early in the morning. Oh my gosh. How did we get that one? How did we do that? I'm in shock. All right, they didn't have very many counters. My opponent will be bringing in, and I repeat, will be bringing in Celestial Purge. We know this. All right, Rabble Master's Boils. These are all definitely coming in. Anger the Gods probably can come out without a problem here. And then from here, the question is, what do we want? Do we want the Pithing Needle here to stop some stuff? That could be nice. Do we need all these Chalices? Chalice on 1 seemed to be decent, but it wasn't going to like end our opponent. We could get rid of a pair of Chalices here and throw them into the board for Karn to go get. I kind of like this approach, doing this, using Boils and Blood Moons, trying to stop my opponent. My opponent's Force of Negations are going to be problematic. I'm sure they'll be bringing, like I said, Celestial Purges in. We might be seeing some timely reinforcements, stuff like that. The path is kind of interesting. Because we're a deck that tries to play everything so quickly, sometimes path is okay. It's like, not the worst, but not the best. To me, I don't think the Chalice is going to be really worth it. I think I saw a lot more 2s. We'll probably have path and opt. Celestial Purge would be really nice to stop, but that's going to take a lot. We saw Deprive. We're going to see Celestial Purge guaranteed. We saw Dovin Veto, and Dovin Veto doesn't really care about Chalice. It's kind of like the Abrupt Decay. So let's cut a couple Chalices here. Bring the Rabbles in. Bring the Boils in. Let's take it to this opponent. A lot less counters than I thought. I was really thinking we lost because Double Teferi is pretty game-ending for us in many cases. Repeated Dovin Vetoes, though, just didn't let my opponent draw too deep. Hey, got to take our wins when we can. Let's go to game number 2 here. Got to be fast. Fast Moons, fast Rabble Masters. Let's make it happen. Opponent's going to take their entire time to sideboard. All right, Bob the Dog. Well, no lander. Can't keep that. Easy mulligan. My opponent keeps all 7. All right, well, I'm on the draw, and I have a Magus. Let's keep. Let's get rid of Chandra here. We're going to get some Bone Crusher down. Fetch land, I presume, is the first card here. Misty Rainforest. Well, do we think they have the path? We'll find out here. Do you have the path, or did you keep a hand of Force of Negation? Fetch Shock. Give me that path. I know you've got it over there. Island has been fetched. Okay, they must have, I was gonna say they must have a plains, but they don't appear to. I can't attack into a couple snow-covered islands here. All right, we're all in. 1 lander. Maybe they'll just only have, well, apparently they had just 3 islands. They're good to go. We'll just pass here. A Cryptic Command, though, is definitely possible now. Just about anything they want. Jace works too. Jace bounce Magus to the Moon's probably just what they want to do. And then I land Bone Crusher Giant. Oh, we've kept a 1 lander and we shouldn't have. Kept a 1 lander and maybe shouldn't have. Let's go ahead and stomp Jace, see if we can clear that. I'm sure they have that Force of Negation. Do they protect Jace? Does it matter? They did have it. Getting rid of a Teferi. All right, now they can go get their basic planes here. Opponent's pretty good, I would imagine. Took a little while to get that land. Oh, it's raining now. There's a blood moon. We're just gonna pass back. Like to see both of these fetch possibly here. If they both fetch, then I can Bone Crusher Giant attack this maybe. They can hard cast Force of Negation. If this comes into play sideways with like a Hallowed Fountain here during this fetch, I could possibly... Now I kind of want to go ahead and fire it off here. I know they have the Flooded Strand there that they can fetch with. Opponent has a mana leak. All right. At this point, I'd probably attempt to slam Blood Moon over Magus, but I could also Season Pyromancer getting rid of Chalice Magus. Make it look like I got rid of the one Magus that I had in the hand. Archmage Charm to draw some cards. Fetching. What are you going to do? Mystic Sanctuary, pick up Archmage Charm? Nope, Prairie Stream. Draws cards with Jace. Plays Island. I think I'm going to actually try Season Pyromancer. This is a slight window for us to do Blood Moon, but I know they have vetoes and other things. This one's kind of interesting. Maybe I get a Deprive here. Maybe I get something else. All right. They had the Archmage Charm. Not the worst because it does put the Pyromancer into the yard instead of being like exiled somehow through purges or something like that. Obviously the draw would have been really beneficial for us. We just got to work through this. I think we're up to a Magus next. They'll probably just let this resolve having their own Jace here. I can't imagine this is countered, but they do counter draw. We're just going to keep passing back and forth. My opponent's not upticking with Jace here. Makes me not so worried about it. Mystic Sanctuary from them. Targets a Force of Negation. We'll see if they pick that up or not. Plays a Shark Typhoon. Let's go ahead and Desperate Ritual here. And then I'll attempt Chalice of the Void first. And then we'll play Magus next. This protects from the path. Looks like we have a Deprive. Yep. Makes a little 2/2. Deprives away the Magus of the Moon. We're going to basically play as quick as we can here. Deprive goes to hand. Jace is going to pick this up. We're going to play as quick as we can here to make decisions my opponent has to make in game number 3. Need to happen rapidly. We'll see if that benefits us. Magus of the Moon, pass turn. My opponent should deprive this. They didn't, after all, just do that. Force of Negation also is available. All right, Blood Moon is exiled. We've got 5 damage here, 6 damage. So 3 turn clock. Okay, so what kind of hand are we going to be looking for in game number 3? Blood Moons quickly is fine. Magus seems to be okay in some regard. Fast Planeswalkers wouldn't be bad, it looks like. Well, Archmage Charm makes a 3/3, 6, 7, 8, 9. They need 3 more damage here. If they have it, just fire it off. There you go. Cryptic Command here. Bounces a land. All right, this is lethal. So we've got about 11 minutes for our opponent, 19 for us. Blue-white opponent. We did okay game number 1. We did fight back. What can we change, if anything, here? I could bring the Pithy Needle in. Without it being a Spyglass, though, it is a little bit difficult to figure out what to name. I think we just got to go with what we have and look for a not one lander. We're going to just resubmit here and give it our best shot here in game 3. Blue-white control. Any control list does fairly well in a long-winded challenge, long GPs. They have that little bit more natural state to them to be a little bit more consistent. And by consistent, probably consistently finding the answers they need, because they're able to cantrip through and get past things that they don't need and keep things that they do need. So what's the best here is probably like turn 1 Magus Rabble Master is probably slightly better than turn 1 Blood Moon, just because of Force of Negation here. Turn 1 Seasoned Pyromancer may not be a bad idea either, being that I could probably pitch 2 things, gain 2 creatures, have 4 power on the battlefield and attack. Boil is going to be just that last resort, trying to resolve something if we get to the later stages in this game. I'd prefer to have a little more attack here with Eidolons if we were to run into a lot of blue-white control, but we have to build a deck that is suited for the meta, and I think this one is fairly close to that. Opponent's considering all kinds of sideboard options here, and we'll get to game number 3 here momentarily. All right, opponent takes the full time again to do sideboard, and we'll play first here. We're gonna mulligan a 1-lander. Come on, list. I'm gonna mulligan this one as well. It's a 1-lander. We can't keep 1-landers. There's no way we'll win. We just proved that out. We need to stop keeping them. We did have a fast Blood Moon. That was kind of the leaning point there in the last game. Definitely ship this one though too. Down to 6, down to 5. Maybe this is our bad matchup for the entire challenge. Get it out of the way early, right? All right, opponent keeps their 7. We'll mulligan here again. Well, we have a reasonably fast Blood Moon effect here. I've got to get rid of 2 cards. All right, we'll keep it. Get rid of 2 lands here. Hope to draw land. We'll see. We'll see. It's not good, but it's a decent 5. Gets under a Force of Negation, sort of. Desperate Ritual makes it a little bit awkward. Mystic Sanctuary is the opening card for our opponent. We do hit a land. We'll attempt Ritual into Magus. And this with Ritual could mean Magus. You gotta be careful here. Do they need a Force of Negation here? Do they need to wait? I would potentially force here, but that might be detrimental to their hand. Things to consider here. Do you let it? They get rid of a Cryptic Command. Cryptic Command, goodbye. Do we have a basic fetch here? No. All right, we're just going to be blue. Just going to be blue. Extra Magus here, obviously going to slam the Magus of the Moon. We'll see if they have, say, a Deprive. Do you have a Deprive? Do you want to set yourself back here? A lot of considerations going on here for our opponent. They don't have a lot of time either to consider all of these. We do have an Aether Gust. Let's go ahead and bottom this. Let's take a new draw. This will get us further into the deck. We'll see what they do. Field of Ruin does not set them up here. We'll attempt another Magus. It's not an Archmage Charm at this point. No Force of Negation. What do we have now? They have a Logic Knot? All right. Well, I didn't exactly expect a Logic Knot. Well, my opponent's been able to counter just about everything we play. Might be time to just slap down a Bone Crusher Giant and see what happens. Very interesting and weird set of hands here. They're probably expecting that Field of Ruin to be able to get them a basic Plains at this point. Opt for our opponent. Do they scry to the top or the bottom? They're giving this a good consideration as well. They put it on the bottom and take a random draw here. We get another island. We'll see what this turns into. I think I'm going to slap down a Bone Crusher Giant. Give it a shot here while I have the opportunity to get it under a Cryptic Command. Under a Force as well. No Chalice here. No white for my opponent either. I don't think I'm going to give them a Gemstone, Raminot, or anything like that. No real reason to. Let's go ahead and attack for 4 and pass the turn. Let's go ahead and I think I'll just Seasoned Pyromancer here. If they've got the Cryptic, they've got it. But if not, you know, maybe they have white cards here. We just need to flood the battlefield. Cryptic Command bouncing this isn't the best necessarily. They counter with just our Archmage Charm and give us the turn, or give them the turn back. Go ahead and attack here for another 4. We'll slap down Karn next. Just trying to make it so they have to counter everything that we play. Forces that. Okay. We are killing them with a Bone Crusher Giant, though. Ah, we found white. Now what? Combat time. Looks like we're not necessarily interested in this. It's a basic plains, that's to be expected. Celestial Purge, we do 2 here. This is somewhat okay. I'm gonna go ahead and play a Blood Moon and see if that resolves. This would take them off triple blue here. They have another Force Negation. My opponent is just about out of gas here. Teferi. Teferi goes up here. I'm gonna boil here because it can't do it at instant speed. The last card's an Aether Gust. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on top. I'm gonna put it on top here because then they have only 2 draws here. They know I'm gonna be redrawing this boil. It's a Scalding Tarn. They can pick up a something that they want here, but it will have to be Mystic Sanctuary. Whatever they pick up, I'm gonna put Chalice on here. Put it on like 2. Maybe they'll get a Force of Negation, which won't be any good for us. Besides Archmage Charms, what's good for them? Pick it up with Teferi. And does so. Well, instead of this doing what I think it will do, being draw cards, let's go ahead and boil and force this to be just a counter spell. Would rather it not go to end step, they draw cards and then have Teferi in 3 cards. Teferi goes up here and 1 card in hand. The bridge that's a bit useless. Let's go ahead and put a Chalice on 2 this turn. Not the greatest with an active Teferi. We'll see if they have another counter spell. At this point, this is a bit of a game race against the clock here for our opponent. 4 minutes and 50 seconds here. We do have him at 8. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. I can find another land and get a Seasoned Pyromancer. Opponent balances Chalice here to draw a card. And appears to do nothing else. You know what? Instead of playing the Chalice down, let's go ahead and get Seasoned Pyromancer down next. Seasoned Pyromancer could end this game and they'll have to deal with the tokens here. Opponent's going to get a little more white, it appears. Only way I could really get a Seasoned Pyromancer down is to offer. Gets more blue. We do have more boils. Seasoned Pyromancer. Again, we're playing at a quick pace here. Attack with some Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. Might even wait on this. It's tempting. Let's try Chalice on 2 again. Stops Purge, stops some counters. There's a Dovin Veto. They're at 6. This game is close. This game is close. Cryptic commands to bounce one of these tokens. This is good because it didn't Cryptic command the Seasoned Pyromancer. Opponent opts. Hallowed Fountain will not shock that in, obviously. 3 cards to beat here. Blood Moon is super tempting. But I think we can try to win here. Oh, they're doing this. What are we doing? I'm gonna go ahead and slap down a Seasoned Pyromancer. If it resolves, we get 2 more tokens. If it doesn't, it goes to the yard here. Ooh, that's pretty good. All right, board full of creatures here. There's a shark. I think in response to the shark here, I'm going to go ahead and put them to 3. Putting them to 3 means I do have lethal on board currently. They have probably plenty of ways to remove a creature. We'll see if they do, though. Terminus off the top. That's pretty good. Opponent's at this 3, though. It's really good because the Seasoned Pyromancer doesn't go to the graveyard for them. Plays a Teferi. Up to 5. Let's play Blood Moon first, then Bone Crusher Giant. See if they have the counter here. Does not, it appears. This is lethal. We've kind of made them awkward here. By picking this up, we can put this to 1. Close game here. There's a Jace. What do they do with this Jace, though? They brainstorm. 2 minutes and 50 left. We're at 20. Bone Crusher Giant in hand. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to Dovin Veto, avoid Dovin Veto and just try to stomp. I don't know. Extra island here. There's a land. I'm really tempted to just Bone Crusher Giant 2 damage here. It may not resolve, because they may have a counter here. But if it does resolve, then just playing the other half of it, they can't really bounce the Bone Crusher Giant. We also held this card so that they have to kind of go, hey, what do I want to do here? Spell Snare, we'll hold this card. 2 minutes 20 to beat me. We're in the challenge. We're going to go to time if we need to. Purges away the Blood Moon. Up with Teferi. What are they going to do with Jace? Continues to brainstorm here. My opponent can kill us quickly with a few Sharknadoes. This game's going to come down to the last few points here. Best cards to draw are running Ramunot Ruins. I will take some other cards first, though. I'm going to play this land in case they have a mana leak. Chandra here. Opponent's not interested in that Chandra. By fetching here, Ramunot Ruins is lethal now. Opponent picks up an Archmage Charm on top. This must be countered now due to them having 2 life here. Deprives. Alright, a lot of my stuff does 2 damage. Opponent opts that Archmage Charm, probably will draw with it too. Minute 40 is a quick clock, though, to finish this game. I'm looking for a Ramunot Ruins. Best card for me to draw. Opponent plays a Mystic Sanctuary, picking up Archmage Charm. Teferi upticks here. New Teferi upticks. Jace Brainstorm. A lot of actions for our opponent to get through each turn. Teferi untap. Come on, Ruins. We'll play Chandra. It is lethal. They must counter. Counters with a Force of Negation. We'll have 6 through to their turn. Archmage Charm. Draws cards. Got a minute left, opponent. Up with Teferi. Jace continues to brainstorm. Once again, Ramunot Ruins is an easy way for us to win. Misty Rainforest. Cracking this going to 1. It's a basic, it looked like. Teferi uptick here, 50 seconds on the clock. Ritual is a no-go, pass turn. 40 seconds. Activations all around, lands in play. Archmage Charm drawing cards, looking for a way to win this game. Opt. Monastery Mentor can do it, but they're going to have to cast several spells here. They're also only down to 8 cards here. Ramunot, one more time. It's a Bone Crusher Giant, which is interesting here. I'm going to go ahead and wait here. Let them kind of tap out. I'm going to see if they tap out a little bit further here. There they go. They have to have force and negation here. Oh, that's right. Never mind, Teferi. Well, we'll see if they have enough here, but I think we've beaten them on time. We did have the Bone Crusher Giant here. Could have fired that off. Never found the Raminot Ruins. This one goes to time. My opponent taking a little bit of time there at the beginning cost them this game. A lot of Jaces and Teferis. I'll take the win. It's in the challenge. You got to be present here. Very close one, though. And we did have it. I wanted to see if we got the Raminot Ruins right after this, but we'll take it. We're currently 2-0 in the challenge. Good start for us. A little bit lucky there. See you in match 3. Round 3, match 3 in the challenge here. Going to be getting ready here in about a minute. We're doing all right. Got a bit lucky with the time on the last one. However, it was interesting that we ended up taking game 1 from our opponent. I did not expect that, and I'm not sure my opponent really expected it either. And taking that game 1 probably decided actually that final outcome based on time. We were pretty close, and although we weren't able to draw any cards, a Raminot Ruins would have won that game. Now, that Monastery Mentor at the very end could have also beat us fairly quickly. Probably had about 2 more shots at it. All being said, though, we have match 3 coming up here. We're doing decently with Red Prison overall. I think the deck is still performing in a very strong state, and we'll see what our next opponent is. We've been on the play both times, I believe, so far, so let's see if we can get that again. We'll see you in match 3 here. Red Prison, Modern Challenge. Is our opponent. All right. Well, we're going to have to take one from the draw. Maybe we'll find ourselves a Gemstone Caverns. After all, this list does sport 4 of them. A little more than we usually we're at about 3. We'll see also if our opponent is here on time. That could be important, and they are. We do have a turn 1 Blood Moon. And we're going to go ahead and keep this. Gemstone here, and we're just going to ditch a Karn. Looking pretty decent here. We can also do Seasoned Pyromancer if my opponent is, say, just Burn Prowess. And maybe Blood Moon doesn't interest us as much. We'll see what happens here. Bloodstained Mire for our opponent. And I think we're just going to go for it here. Blood Moon. Make them go ahead and get this basic swamp, but if they're, say, Jund, this could be a problem for them. We don't know anything else other than Bloodstained Mire. No reason not to put it in. Bloodstained Mire does not fetch. Haggle here. All right. I'm not totally upset about a Haggle here. We have a Life from the Loam that was used. It's kind of interesting. Shriekhorn. We see a Golgari Thug here. Lots of red mana thus far. Because of what my sideboard contains, which is a Tormod's Crypt here, I'm actually going to hold off from using Seasoned Pyromancer. Bridge and Tormod's Crypt is probably our best lines here. Shriekhorn here with the Creeping Chill finds also Narcomoeba. Starting to look pretty good for our Dredge opponent. It's been a while since we've seen Dredge. They're going to get a Prized Amalgam here. It looks like they could get Ox. Doing Cathartic Reunion, continuing to go deeper and deeper here on the things that they have in the graveyard. The big question is, can I beat what is in play? I.e., could I get a Tormod's Crypt, get rid of Oxes and Confligates? We'll find out. We already ditched one Karn. What do we have? 29 cards remaining. We've seen 2 Creeping Chills here. We give them the ability to activate this, but not on their draw step. Karn down tick here dies to Prized Amalgam, giving me time to either Seasoned Pyromancer or Chandra to get rid of this. Looks like we're just going to have to attack their graveyard here with a Karn the Great Creator, because they're going to get a Prized Amalgam back if I'm not careful here. Tormod's Crypt in play here. We'll go ahead and just pop this immediately. Go ahead, opponent. 4 power on the battlefield here. We'll see. They have a Life from the Loam that I'm aware of. Shriekhorn's obviously going to kill Karn, and I've already exiled one Karn. So exiling that one Karn means that I only have one left, and I have 3 bridges main. Opponent attacks me for 1, and gets rid of Karn with the Prized Amalgam. This enables Shriekhorn again. We do have to be mindful there's 2 creeping chills remaining for our opponent. I guess we can pop their graveyard out here. It'll be relevant pretty soon, I'm sure. This one's going to be a tough one. We do have Angers, though. Conflag to the bin. That's a pretty good one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chandra. Land. Up here. And Seasoned Pyromancer. All right, we do find our bridge. We have a Chandra at 5. They have 5 cards plus their draw here. Uses Shriekhorn, misses 2 lands. They'll have 6 cards in hand and can flag for 6, killing Chandra if they want to. If they do that, though, and they can flag killing Chandra, that's their second conflag. We have a bridge here. We might be able to keep ourselves from dying. We need to not draw lands, it looks like. Okay, tough one here. Tough decision. Looks like they are going to conflag and put some things in the yard. They do, and they do 5 strict damage to Chandra here. We see a Stinkweed, Golgari, and a Life from the Loam. I presume they will be attacking here. We will block for 3 damage saved. We hit another land here. I am going to go ahead and take the turn to play Bridge here. This stops Prized Amalgam. We can get hit by Narcomoeba. We have to remember that we're at actually 6 here, not at 12. Need to not draw another land, please. In for 1. Down to 11. Looking to hardlock my opponent out of this game. 20 cards remaining in their library. This is going to be a close one. Continue to draw lands. Not ideal. Not ideal. Narcomoeba can definitely hurt us a few more times here. Opponent haggles. Stinkweed. Some Prized Amalgams here. 15 cards remaining. We'll definitely go ahead and play the Seasoned Pyromancer. Extra Narcomoeba here in the Creeping Chill. There's one of them. Prized Amalgam triggers. Down to 8, 7. Like I said, I need to be able to get under this bridge. I don't think they have another conflag. They've already used... I got rid of one. We'll see, we'll see. Non-land. Shoot. Come on, anything. Gonna hit for 2, put me to 5. I need it here. This is the last chance I have. There's an Ox. That doesn't kill me. If they play 3 conflags, they're gonna win. If they only play the 2, this top deck decides this game. Here we go. Down to 5. Come on. Spell. That'll do. All right. Is there anything that I'm frightened of currently that I need to put a chalice on? 1 or 2 is typically where this can get me. So I think I'm going to put the chalice at 2. All right, we'll see if that's a hard lock against Dredge. I'm thinking of Ancient Grudge. Sometimes the lists are playing an old Ancient Grudge because they kind of dump things. I'm also thinking Shenanigans is a one of. Could be a problem as well. Go ahead and cast this. Got 7 cards to beat here. I doubt they use the Ox. They're looking for me to make a mistake, I believe. completely fair. Gotta go for every line that you possibly can. And they do concede. We take game 1. There's a dangerous card, by the way. Dangerous card. Should have let me play it a little bit longer. Who knows? Oops, Seasoned Pyromancers are out. So, Seasoned Pyromancer's out. Anger Abrade can definitely come in for this matchup. For the most part, I think we have to act in light of just trying to lock my opponent out. This gets tricky because my opponent can just simply remove our lock pieces. I'm not sure what their choice of removing is. Could be Force of, Vigor? Could be a Claim type of effect. 1 mana. It could be Ancient Grudge. It could be Shenanigans. They could be playing something completely offbeat. So, a lot of options for our opponent. Not to mention that we can die to just 2 sets of Conflagrates. So, I think, for some reason, I think I want to go ahead and play a little more on the... Definitely be okay with potentially Blood Moon being played, but I think I want to bring in some Rabble Masters to be aggressive. So Seasoned Pyromancer out because Bridge is one of the ways we get through. A Singleton Chalice to the sideboard's not going to hurt us, and Magus of the Moons. We're going to be bringing in Anger Abrade for removal, Torpor because this can slow them down at the beginning, it doesn't really lock anything out, and Pithy Needle for Shriekhorn. Rabble Master is going to be brought in as well, just to be a quick clock, in case we do get that Tormod's Crypt off the Karn the Great Creator and slow my opponent down. This opening hand does not do anything. We're going to mulligan this. Alright. This is kind of interesting. This could be a turn 2 Chandra or Bridge. I think I can get rid of a mountain here. We might just go turn 2 Chandra here because they might have something to protect the or take out the bridge. My opponent mulliganed to 5 cards here. We got a Arid Mesa. Let's go ahead and put a Pithy Needle down. Would you like me to name Arid Mesa? Let's see what they go fetch here. This will name Shriekhorn, by the way. There's very little that I need this to name. A little Shriekhorn there, just in case. Looks like we're going to be getting a quick Chandra here. Maybe my opponent's trying to prevent us from doing our things with Bridge. This could be a Cathartic Reunion as well. Life from the Loam, many things. Cathartic, Stinkweed to the bin. 1 Narcomoeba here. 3 Narcomoebas. Nothing else, though. Well, there's an Ox. There's other things, but... Interesting. Alright. We're going to go full in here. Get the Chandra down, uptick, go ahead and play the Torpor. Chandra can get killed here by the Narcomoebas, but with our chances of drawing a land here, and not to mention that basically if they were to hit other prized amalgams here, Torpor could stop some of this ETB. And getting Chandra down, I don't think there's any reason to just sit here and try to play Bridge. I expect my opponent to have some removal for some of these artifacts, and maybe having these 2 out, it will encourage our opponent to fire off at one of these. Life from the Loam here picks up Blood Crypt, Copperline Gourd, and Arid Mesa. Nothing too frightened here. 3 damage probably at Chandra. Bloodghast here off of the Copperline Gorge. I'm still at 20. This is not going to have haste. Attack Chandra for some decent damage here. Top of the library is a Simian Spirit Guide. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and go up in case I find an Anger. Which I do. So we'll go ahead and play this Anger here. A much more interesting card to play than Bridge, considering I think Bridge would get snagged here. And I believe our Chandra should be okay. We'll see, though. Claims away a Torpor. There you go. Bridge safe so far. Claim is their target, though. So Chalice on 1 would be great. If I find a Chalice, I will play it on 1 first rather than playing Bridge. We're at a currently healthy 24 life because of the claim. Extra land here. This was one of the lands they picked up. We just kind of hard cast like a stinkweed here. Gets the Ox. Makes sense. Pitches all kinds of things here. Bunch of Creeping Chills showing up here. In fact, all of them. Ow. That was all of them. 17 cards remaining here. Prized Amalgam did not come back because this was already in play. They've already gotten through all of their Narcomoebas. Ah, shoot. Chalice, huh? Chalice, huh? So here we can go ahead and Chandra down tick kill this. And then I could put the Chalice on 1 as well. And if I top deck the lands, we're good. We do see a conflag here, so this could kill us if we're not careful. I could also bridge, wait 1 turn, and hope to get lucky too, that the bridge is enough with the Ox here. We haven't seen another claim. We've only seen the one. Conflag here can kill Chandra as well. I think I would need to cash in the Chandra here and put Chalice on 1. They'll probably replay Ox here as a way to potentially kill me. Then I'll be looking for land Karn, will be what I would love to have. This is probably worth about 8 to 9 damage. Needing a land off the top here. We are 11 cards deep here and haven't seen another land, so I would expect to run into one here soon. If they do some drawing with this as well, depending on the balance of draws versus dredge here, they might be risking themselves as losing the game through no cards in deck as well. I think this is as good as it's going to get for us in this game number 2. We'll just see if it pays off. Do we get the right top deck? Do they fumble? We'll see. Dredges a life from the loam. They found another life from the loam. Going to use life from the loam to pick up some lands, no doubt. We do not have our Tormod's Crypt main decked. We have 3 Karns instead. This is by choice. Decides Ox again here. This brings all the prized amalgams in. We need a top deck land or we lose. Here we go. Discard Stinkweed, Stinkweed, Stinkweed. Does dredge once, dredges again. There's the Ancient Grudge. Ancient Grudge, Ancient Grudge. So they had Ancient Grudge and Claim. 5 cards remaining here and a bunch of prized amalgams. I don't believe I have an out anymore. We did hit our land here. What we can do is go ahead and play bridge and see if they just blank on using this Ancient Grudge. They don't. They immediately do this and they'll go ahead and swing for lethal. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. All good. All good. Pretty solid from our opponent. There's an Abrade, Karn. We were going to get the Karn kind of backwards there. A little too late, though. All right. Any big changes here? Bone Crusher Giants are only going to kill... Bone Crusher Giant only kills Narcomoeba? From what we've seen, it might be worth taking this out and bringing the Maguses back in, with the idea that the Magus can keep an Ancient Grudge and a Claim at bay. So let's go ahead and make that small swap here. I still don't think it's right to bring my Singleton Tormod's Crypt in. Pithing Needle is probably still okay here. Torporb's probably okay as well. Maybe the question of a Chalice now. Chalice on 1 and 2 would be decent. We could get rid of the Torp Orb, but I do like that. Might be worth getting rid of one Rabblemaster, bringing the Chalice back in. We do know Claim is a thing, we knew Ancient Grudge, and it'd be nice to be able to get rid of both. Being on the play, that's also a way to stop Shriekhorn. Here we go. So we have a turn 2 Bridge, turn 3 Chandra. This doesn't really stop a lot of the things my opponent's doing, though. Could really use just like Anger instead, Blood Moon, stuff like that. Let's go ahead and mulligan this hand. The bridge is nice, but it's probably not game ending. We have a singleton land here, but we have like the best follow-ups. If I hit 2 running lands, we'd probably win this game. Pithing Needle on Shriekhorn here, followed by Chalice on 1, followed by Blood Moon, then Chalice on 2, or Anger to clear the board. I really want to keep this. I know we're not supposed to keep a 1-lander here, but I think the Pithy Needle could slow down my opponent. I'm going to keep. I would not recommend this, but I've got a gut feeling that we're going to flood out. Gut feeling. My opponent's mulligan to 5 as well. Starting to make Pithy Needle look really good here. Name is Shriekhorn. This is just to prevent them from starting to get things going here. We'll see what they lead with. Wooded Foothills. Cracks this. That's not good. Stomping Ground. Shocks in. There's the Shriekhorn. All right. Well, I found a land-like thing here. Shriekhorn doing things at the moment. All right. Land. All right. Not ideal so far. Didn't hit those lands we talked about. However, Pithy Needle definitely slowing down my opponent. Shocks in a Blood Crypt. If they have the Ancient Grudge, we're dead. They do. They need a miss with Shriekhorn. Life from the Loam and a Pithy Needle of their own. Misses a Claim and a Pithy Needle number 2. All right. These are not the worst things for us to see. Next up is probably Blood Moon. Shriekhorns again. Bloodghast Ancient Grudge. Life from the Loam to pick up Arid Mesa and Wooded Foothills. Plays a land, Bloodghast. So there's our cleanup. We can hit a land here. That's 5 damage we'll have to deal with, but no problem there. Fetching. Stomping Ground shocks this in. And a new Shriekhorn. Shriekhorn activation, Archamoeba. Again, we still have cleanup here. Land. There we go. All right, genuine question here. Should I do the Anger now and keep my life total nice and high? Or am I gonna Blood Moon here and then hope to rip 1 more land? If I Blood Moon here, the Ancient Grudges are basically offline here. They're gonna do Shriekhorns. I would have to probably hit a land. I think Blood Moon's the best thing we've got here. Blood Moon and gotta hit that land. We have Chalices I can get rid of, and if I get rid of the Chalices, Bridge is more online. Need 1 more land here, gonna take about 6 damage. No more Life from the Loam shenanigans, no Ancient Grudges, and no Claims. So Chalices can be placed on 0. 1 Creeping Chill done, so we have 9 more damage to go. 9 plus the 5, plus the 6 is 14, giving us a 3-point buffer here. 3 points. That's all we've got. And I say this knowing Conflag is somewhere in that list. Not sure what the outs are here. Dredge is definitely a difficult matchup. What are our outs? Top deck land, Anger. Top deck land, Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, something like that. Karn kill land so they can't cast Conflag. And hope they don't have enough cards in hand and don't hit and naturally draw some of these creeping chills. Is that all I'm asking for? Uses a Shriekhorn, hits Pithing Needle, uses another Shriekhorn and Blood Crypt. Nothing terribly scary. Need a land here. Land decides it. All right, we get our land. Step 1 complete. Anger of the Gods, clear the battlefield. Go ahead. Step 1, done. Step 2, avoid these cards. Step 3, avoid these cards. Shriekhorn again. Finds a Narcomoeba, but there's nothing else coming in with it. Being said that, Narcomoeba does do damage. I think they have another land. I would think they do. Conflag here can ditch some of their land, or their hand here. The hope is that they have 1 or 2 of these Creeping Chills in hand. I'm not convinced, though. Conflags me for 4. Puts a land into play. This brings Bloodghast in and Prized Amalgam. I need another land, or another Anger. Blood Moon's not going to do it. Play Magus and pass turn. Creeping Chill puts me to 2 and I can block Prized Amalgam. My opponent wins. Dredge, a tough one. Attacks on all kinds of axes. Didn't get us there. Chalices were a bit dead this time around. Didn't quite get them down before the Ancient Grudge took care of our Pithing Needle. Our Pithing Needle was really good too. Just didn't get us there. Would have stopped quite a bit of what's going on. So definitely the Pithing Needle was better probably than the Tormod's Crypt. You could say Tormod's Crypt was a 1-of hit, which would have stopped the first thing, this Anger, maybe the second, but then we had perhaps Ox or something else coming down. Oh well, a loss here. Definitely a difficult matchup just because of Creeping Chill. As soon as that was printed, Prison has its own troubles with this list. All being said, though, we're not doing too bad. 2-1, keep our heads up. We'll see you in match 4 and see if we can continue to win. We're not in the loser's bracket this time around. Might be a tough one. We'll see you there. Round 4 here approaching. Looking pretty decent. We did lose our last one to Dredge, although I'm not disappointed. Dredge is definitely and most certainly a difficult matchup. We do recognize a few names here, so we took a little bit of time here between round 3 and round 4 to go ahead and see what we might be running into. We've got Aspiring Spike over here. Let's see here. I thought I saw a few others that I recognized. Trellon. I've played against some of these people. It's just a matter of if I remember exactly what they're playing. We played Bob the Dog earlier. But yeah, not doing too bad with Red Prison. They're CWS. We'll see if we can continue to be well and play decently. I think that's the best we can do. Play well and just see what happens. This is round 4 here of the Modern Challenge, playing Red Prison. Here we go, and here's our opponent. We'll see if we get the play or the draw. 2 plays, 1 draw thus far. We get another draw, Lucas G1GGs. So our opponent, not familiar with this name. I'm not sure if I should be. Some people will immediately tell me, yeah, don't you recognize that person? Anyway, got a turn 2 Blood Moon, turn 3 Blood Moon. We'll go ahead and keep this. I will go ahead and get rid of a mountain here. Pretty much playing a Gemstone Caverns indicates what we're going to be doing. I expect my opponent to fetch basics at this point, and does so. Basic Forest here, and finds a Reclaimer. This isn't the worst thing for us to run into. This is, after all, a Titan list, and we are well equipped for the Titan matchup. We'll see how it goes here. Magus of the Moon is going to be a nice one. They will get to ramp a little bit with the Reclaimer. And playing this Flagstones down. Definitely gonna just lead with Magus though, and having a second Magus here for in case of a Dryad's not a bad thing. That being said, Elvish Reclaimer here can fix their mana without much of a problem. We'll be looking for a bridge here to lock this game out as best as we can. Opponent finds a basic plains here, and then gets to search for whatever card they want with the Elvish Reclaimer. I don't imagine it's going to be anything too frightening for us right now. Extra flagstones for more ramp. Seems completely fine and normal for the list. Okay. Selesnya Sanctuary. It is slowing my opponent down just a little bit here. Anger the Gods is an interesting one. I think this grows when it has 3 or more, so really no reason to attack in, then they block and do their thing. The other thing is that this is probably not going to get us there either. So my opponent paths our Magus. We're going to wait to see if I could use the anger. It looks like we might be in trouble a little bit here by waiting. Opponent uses another flagstones here. Didn't really think about the path because usually we have a Blood Moon out. That's all right though. I think we'll be fine. The way we're winning this is through Blood Moon and a follow-up bridge, so we'll need to find that bridge anyway. Having 2 Maguses out does slow my opponent some here, and maybe is worth a shot, especially with how they've now unlocked everything they've done. We'll see if this punishes us in any fashion. Didn't really want to anger away my own Magus, obviously, so second Magus would have been a little bit better. We'll find ourselves hopefully a bridge here, and if we do, we'll have bridge and Magus that we can play. If we find another anger, we could also double anger, which isn't a bad idea. Not a great one, though. Field is out. We've got some more basics here. Couple zombies come into play. Sacred Foundry. We do have red splashed into this list. Wonder what that's for. Tax for 3 here. Puts me to 17. Alright. Well, kind of hate playing the Magus down into potentially more threats, but we'll go ahead and do that. At this point, they would have had a Primeval Titan without the zombies and would have been attacking me for 9 a turn anyway. I'd have 1 Magus out because the other one was pathed. Does this really change it at all? Maybe a little bit. Probably combat with everything. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This puts me to 2. Probably just take it because I have the Magus. I don't want them to get Valakuts and Dryads and such. We basically need that bridge off the top. We can do it with a Karn as well. Fingers crossed here, we need one of our lock pieces. One plays a Dryad. They have plenty of mana now. Plays 2 lands here. And we hit a Bone Crusher. Not going to do it. If we would have staved this off for a turn or 2, we would have drawn Chandra, Bone Crusher, Chalice, Chandra, Desperate Ritual. This is probably still not getting us there. Maybe kill one of these and slow things down, but bashing in with Primeval Titan several times definitely going to kill us. All right, this is a potential Boil matchup. We'll go ahead and bring those in. On the whole, though, that's probably about all we care. Maybe this Abrade. We can probably get rid of these Angers. If my opponent gets a field out, we're probably losing. I could also keep like an Anger in and get rid of like 1 or 2 Chalices here. Let's get rid of 1 Chalice. Where'd the Chalice go? Chalice on 1 can stop Reclaimer showing up pretty soon. They have typically ETB creatures to get rid of our Bridge and our Blood Moon. Obviously they have Path, so Chalice on 1 wouldn't be bad either. Alright. Go for the lock. That's what we need to do against Titan. Should be pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and play first. We'll keep this hand. We have the ability to get rid of the Reclaimer. We have the ability to play both versions of Blood Moon. Not bad here. Looking decent. We'll see what this one lines up to be. It's probably a reasonable hand here. I'd like one of these to be something else, but having 2 effects of Blood Moon is probably not bad against our Dryad friend. Opponent mulligans to 6, probably looking for some basics here. Definitely Blood Moon probably first over Magus, just because the potential of a path is a big thing. We'll see what happens though. Going for the lock. Mountain Go. Windswept Heath, they can get either basic. We have a lot of mana to us. Let's go ahead and cast Desperate Ritual here and slap down a Blood Moon. This might make them get more of the green than the white here, and then we can follow with Magus of the Moon. I don't expect to see white. They might have Celestial Purges that they've brought in, so we'll just have to see if we get got by one of those. Plains for our opponent. Blood Moon in play. Temple Garden. And no follow-ups. We'll just slap down a Magus here, so we have 2 Blood Moons. And go ahead, opponent. We need to avoid Path and Celestial Purge. Definitely this green-white variation's been very difficult for us to deal with. My opponent doesn't really do too much here. We can stomp and replay the Bone Crusher Giant, which gives us a lot of power on the battlefield, which is a good way to end the game quickly. Definitely want to start ending this game if possible. Let's go ahead and attack for 2, and we'll do just exactly what we said here. Bone Crusher itself is probably not killing anything too frightening at this point in the game. And I'd rather be trying to get them dead than waiting. Do we lose pretty badly to Celestial Purge plus Path here? Maybe. Celestial Purge is my Magus, which is interesting. Choosing that over the Blood Moon is a little bit surprising because I'm sure they have paths. Opponent's found a basic forest but seems to be doing nothing else with it. We're going to continue to draw lands here. In for 4 pass turn. Don't kill Blood Moon, please. Blood Moon unlocks these, but they're not very good at the moment. Celestial Purges my Bone Crusher Giant. Again, not worrying about Blood Moon. Interesting. More concerned about living longer than this Blood Moon. Gives me some insights into the matchup that is their concern, is the creatures and not the Blood Moon itself. Well, we're at 6 lands, a little high, considering I started with, what, 2 Maguses and a Bone Crusher? There's the 3rd Celestial Purge. Well, I guess I have Ramunot Ruins here, and we'll just have to deal with this Titan. So 3 Purges later, my opponent's able to clear 2 Blood Moons and a creature that was beating them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I'll go ahead and wait here in case I top deck Karn for bridge. We do need a bridge here, and we need it fast. Thought we were okay with double Blood Moon effects and then a relatively quick creature, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Field of the Dead plus a basic Plains here makes 2 zombies. They have 10 damage. It's a 2-turn clock. I continue to flood out here, flooding out really hard, something we don't do too often. Usually we're wanting our 4th land, not at 1,000 lands. Opponent attacks here, 2 more cards. I'm gonna just not worry about cracking a Ramunot Ruins. 2 damage is not deciding this game. The top of the library is. Field of the Dead plus a Vesuva here. Vesuva copying Field of the Dead. My opponent makes 1,000 zombies. Just a few. Bridges are only out at this point. Bridges are only out. Down to 10. My opponent follows this up with another Primeval Titan. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another Primeval Titan. This goes and gets... what else? More fields? Field and a Blast Zone. So I need a bridge into a Blood Moon. Blast Zone takes care of the bridge if we do find it here. And that'll do it. Titan taking us down. Now that our opponents have been shifting into this green-white variation, instead of having forces to get rid of our artifacts or other like claims or other Rec Sages, things like that, they're just stacking up on the Celestial Purges. The biggest problem from them is really just Blood Moon. Quite honestly, I'm not sure there's much else other than maybe a few counter spells. So with that, our opponent triple Celestial Purges us. We don't find a Chalice to protect us from that purge, and they take us down. We're currently 2-2 in the challenge. We'll continue on going and seeing if we can get maybe into that top 32. Red Prison here. See you in match 5 coming up. Round 5 coming up here on the challenge. Match 5 approaching. We're currently 2-2 overall, playing Red Prison here in the Modern Challenge. Our last matchup was a bit of an interesting one as, well, we didn't quite get there and my opponent decided to purge us off the planet. All that being said, though, I think it's still a decent matchup. We just have to be careful that Titan has decided to not just be crazy all in like they are with Amulet, but instead using Reclaimer to fix their mana, but also fix their mana, but to also get those white cards that are pretty detrimental to us. Match 5 coming up here. We're 2-2, currently sitting at 53rd spot. Absolutely no problem with that. Challenge should be about 8 matches total because we ended up eclipsing the 7-round match by exactly 1 person. Let's find our next opponent. Will we be on the play or the draw? Currently we've gone 2 on the play and 2 on the draw. Let's see what this one is. And we're on the draw again. All right, well, let's go ahead and keep this opening hand. Anger to clean things up and Chandra to play out. We'll be ahead of curve ever so slightly here. I'm going to keep Scavenger Grounds and the Raminaut Ruins, so the Gemstone is going to get rid of a mountain, and we'll be playing some magic. This is for graveyard shenanigans. This is just for extra damage. We have a Cavern of Souls naming humans. Looks like we're against the humans again. We'll see if this benefits us or not. All right, not gonna immediately do Desperate Ritual into Anger. I'm not too afraid of the 3-drop here, and I actually wouldn't mind getting a Chandra down, going up and then using Chandra with the Anger in the following turns. This should be a fairly favored matchup, and we'll see if we can repeat our success here, this time on the draw against humans. Cavern of Souls and Noble Hierarch has been played for our opponent as we wait for them to play turn 2 for them, and our turn 2 coming up next. Definitely don't need the Scavenger Grounds anytime soon. We'll see what they've got. Extra Desperate Ritual would be fantastic without Thalia showing up. Chandra into Desperate Ritual Anger would be just icing on the cake. 2 mana here, looking like Meddling Mage. Meddling Mage naming who knows what. Braids. They could name this Anger. Bridge. Blood Moon. Many things they could name. Reconsidering this, decides to play a Mantis Rider, it looks like. Mantis Rider down here, and attacks for 4. Well, we get to do exactly what I said, just a little bit different, not a ritual. It was just a Simian Spirit Guide, but I'll take it. Pretty good. Turn 2, Chandra into Anger the Gods against our human opponent. This will help us dig. We'll see how many things they can play per turn. Been seeing a few Sunbaked Canyons lately. 3 mana double white here. General. The General has shown up. Gets rid of that Anger of the Gods. The General is a 3/3 here. We end up top decking straight into a bridge, so we'll go up here to see if we find another one. We do not. We'll slam down bridge and pass turn. Good luck, opponent. Not sure if they can get rid of this easily here in game number 1. They might have Deputy of Detention main deck, but if they do, we're almost there with Chandra. We'll see what happens. Currently cannot cast a Spirit, by the way. Skyclave. Apparition is not a thing, but I don't believe they're playing that. Noble Hierarch does get under our bridge. They steal away our Desperate Ritual. My opponent follows this up with a Meddling Mage. We'll see what they would like to name with Meddling Mage. Ironically, General actually makes Noble too large to get under. Person names Lightning Bolt. We have our own Stomp here. Let's go up for damage. Simeon's Spirit Guide's a no-go here. We can go ahead and stomp away the Noble. And pass the turn. Chandra Emblem coming here unless my opponent can get rid of Bridge. We'll see what happens. And the concession is what it does. Top deck an extra Bridge would easily Emblem, play this, and then running cards, we're going to be completely fine. Okay, so Braid and Anger come in along with Pithing Needle. We take out the 3-season Pyromancers, and we ship it back. Easiest changes here. You could bring Walking Ballista if you're afraid of a Thalia. Sometimes we are, so sometimes we do. There's just slight variations that you can do in and out, but this one's a pretty straightforward ins and outs. We'll go ahead and keep this. This is turn 2 Chandra, turn 2 Blood Moon, or turn 2 Anger of the Gods. Probably want to go this route. Anger the Gods first, then Magus. Having to deal with whatever's left over. Scary thing is perhaps that Thalia we talked about. Opponent mulligans to 5. Has an island here, and that is their opening hand. Looking pretty good for us. Looks like we are going to actually just go ahead and slam a Chandra here. Meddling Mage is put into play here. Naming. Kind of tempted to just do Magus here and not worry about the island. Names Ensnaring Bridge. Well, we're not there yet. We'll get there eventually. I think I really do like just a Magus here. Shutting them off of their white. Just making blue, so it's like Phantasmal Image. It's not the greatest creature, but I'll take it. We can always get rid of the Meddling Mage with the Chandra here. Go ahead and play a Chandra here. We'll go ahead and kill their Meddling Mage. Can pretty safely attack for 2 and pass the turn. Humans is looking like they're in a bad spot here, especially with Karn, the Great Creator, coming. And it is a quick 1-2 punch here in round 5, but we take down Humans. Currently 3-2. Got a few more matches to go. We'll see where we end up. Poor Humans. I only see Humans in the challenge. I don't know what that means. Maybe they're good. Maybe they're not. We'll see you in round 6. Round 6, match 6 coming up here. We're playing that Red Prison in this challenge here. Currently in 50th place, hitting at 3-2. I believe because we have 129 players, I think it's going 8 rounds, unless it does something strange where it sees people drop on that first initial round and cuts the rounds. But I doubt that. We'll probably be looking at 8 rounds. I believe we have to get a 5-3 record, so we'll go ahead and give it a shot at getting there. Let's see what our next opponent is. We've been on the play, what now, twice, and I think on the draw 3 times, so perhaps it's time to get on the play again. Match 6 coming up here. Red Prison in the challenge here on the 19th. Let's make it another win. Let's find an opponent. Need to dodge some bad matchups, probably. Let's find Tron. That would be kind of a fun matchup, right? All right, we are on the draw once again here. We'll see what our opponent is up to. Opening hand has removal. Things interact with the graveyard and protection. If this is a creature matchup, we look really decent. If it's anything else, we may not be doing a whole lot. We'll probably keep here in the blind, though. I do like that I have some Scavenger Grounds. There are some decks out there that are interacting with our graveyards. Arbor Elf here. Okay. Not a bad thing to see for us. Got an Anger of the Gods potentially off Desperate Ritual pretty quickly here. Could be Panza or Gruul mid-range. Pendelhaven says otherwise. Utopia Sprawl. Puts it on white. All right, we're going to make 4 mana here. We'll see what this turns into. A collected company. This Anger the Gods could be really good. Heliod and a Ranger. Ooh, this is not as good as we thought it was going to be. Playing the Desperate Ritual and attempting to anger, my opponent can blank this. My opponent goes and gets a Walking Ballista. I'm pretty sure I've just got to try to defend this. We'll see what they do. Ritual? Do I get to anger? Or are you going to stop me? It's worth a shot here. And they do stop us. We will pass the turn. Can't play this, can't play this. Worth a shot here. If they have another land, they're going to win here with Walking Ballista on turn 3. Well, that's not good. Should play this Walking Ballista here on as a 2/2. They could even play it as a 1/1 with a Pendelhaven, right? 1/1 with a Pendelhaven. Well, this is a quick one. We might be 3/3 really quick here. We'll see. We'll see. There's the Walking Ballista. Gives us life link and begins to shoot us. Well, we'll go ahead and concede that. That's a combo. All right, so we've got to beat Heliod combo. A Braid is okay. Anger's okay. Pithing Needle is all right. May even bring in this Walking Ballista just to have a way to get rid of a small initial creature. Blood Moons are pretty decent. So is Bone Crusher Giant. Like Angers. I don't like Seasoned Pyromancer as much here. The Digging is nice, but it's not what we need to be doing. I'll probably actually trim 1 bridge as well. The bridge is an interesting trim here, but my opponent just is going to like kill us by just doing a combo more than likely. Now it's very interesting here. I don't have anything to deal with a Spike Feeder if they were to find that off of a collected company. So that could just generally be an issue. We'll have to see what we want to do with Pithing Needle, naming Spike Feeder or Heliod. The general gist here is that we want to have a Blood Moon extremely fast against this list, and then something to remove a few creatures, and we could be okay. All right. Well, it's a difficult one. I think I can go ahead and keep it. It's going to be very sketchy, though. We have the Walking Ballista, in which I can pick off an Arbor Elf. We can then Blood Moon after that. And we'll have to see if Anger the Gods or Magus of the Moon is the more important thing to be doing. This one's a risky one. But having this Walking Ballista here gives me some hope that we have a shot. Could be a fast round 6 here. All right, they mulligan to 6 and keep. We have this Walking Ballista, hoping to get rid of an Arbor Elf. Prismatic Vista. There's that card that we could have gotten with a Blood Moon if we had it quicker. They opt for a Plains here, and they actually play something that is larger than our Walking Ballista. We end up getting a Bone Crusher Giant, though, so we'll go ahead and pick off Giver and pass turn. If we can avoid them getting green here, we have a good shot at this game. We'll definitely want to slam this Blood Moon. I would be okay to see another Giver Runes. Temple of Gardens, okay. Auriok Champion we can deal with. All right. Let's go ahead and play a Blood Moon here. I feel it's the safer of Blood Moon versus Magus, seeing that they have a basic Plains that could be a path. Auriok Champion is beatable by Walking Ballista, albeit now that we see a forest, things aren't looking very good for us. Conclave. Conclave might have to be just angered away. We need a land here. Land? We do hit a land. Let's play a Walking Ballista here and pass the turn. Walking Ballista can pick off Auriok Champion. Which is what we'll probably be doing. Maybe they'll play a Walking Ballista and I'll get to anger the board here with Conclave and that. 4th land here, definitely afraid of something like a Collected Company. Alright, Auriok Champion taken care of. Conclave here. Opponent's pretty happy with where they're at. So this is Collected Company. Do I have to just wait on this Anger of the Gods, play a secondary Blood Moon here, keeping them off of double green? If they hit Heliod and Heliod and Spike Feeder, is not a whole lot I can do. If I kill this, they get a Heliod and a Spike Feeder. They're still going to like infinite life regardless. We are currently, we have slightly more cards. I think I'm gonna go one more turn here. Ooh, all right. They don't play anything. No Collected Company, and they got an extra forest here. I'll take that. Karn, huh? Alright, we'll play Bone Crusher Giant and pass turn. Karn wouldn't be bad because that stops Walking Ballista. It doesn't stop Spike Feeder. I'm needing them to not get Heliod down. I need this down earlier. I can get a Liquid Metal and start shutting off the planes so that the planes doesn't allow them to hit Heliod. I actually wouldn't mind them putting more creatures out. Not through Collected Company though. This is an easier way for them to get a Heliod. Oh gosh. Just get like Giver. You can have an Auriok Champion, I don't care. Please. Not the big god, please. Ranger and a Spike Feeder. Okay. Ranger can go get a Walking Ballista here. Okay, we have an Anger. We'll see what they want to do with this Ranger. Extra land here. I will fire off Anger if they don't sacrifice the Ranger. They can move a counter over to something else. Definitely gonna just Anger here. They should move something, but then they don't have the Spike Feeder. They might have the Conclave. 2, 3. Currently, Walking Ballista is gonna be too big. Alright, so they gain a little bit of life here, and they make Conclave just a little bit too big for us. We can still beat a Walking Ballista, albeit it's very unlikely now. Probably have to play Magus into Karn. Okay, Utopia Sprawl. We know Walking Ballista's here. Land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Makes this a 4/4. I need my top deck a Braid, probably. Hits for 4. The Chandra. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double pump this. Makes this an 8/8. Well, I'm just going to defend with Magus here. That Spike Feeder on to the Conclave, having the extra land there to pass the value of the counter over was really big. Here they can just double pump Walking Ballista here, shoot this twice, attack, and then release all of the rest of it here. Would a Ensnaring Bridge have helped here? It's tough to say. Currently with a Walking Ballista like this, they would have been able to shoot this, maybe get under and then pump. There you go. Round 6 is done. We're 3-3. We've got to win out to have a chance at top 32. We'll go ahead and give it our best shot, though. That is what we're here to do. It's kind of like Devoted Druid, though. And we know how that goes sometimes on the stream. There you have it. Opponent takes us down. We were going to get the Simian Spirit Guide. Chandra being able to potentially kill Conclave at some point would have been nice. We did have to get rid of the Giver, unfortunately, and we didn't get to enough mana to kill this with a Walking Ballista. Didn't work out. Didn't work out. We'll see you in round 7. Round 7, match 7 coming up here in the challenge. We got beaten down that last one very quickly. We obviously in match 5 we beat down someone pretty quickly, and then in match 6 we got handed to, making us 3-3 even right now. We have 7 rounds coming up, probably an 8th round after this. We're currently in the 60s. We can definitely hop up a few spots here. Will we make top 32? It is only a matter of time before we find out. Let's get ready for this final, oh, or perhaps not final, second to last round here. Playing Red Prison in the Modern Challenge here on the 19th. We'll see how it turns out for us. We need a win. Let's get on the play. That'll help us quite a bit, it seems. Match 7 coming up. Here we go. And we are on the play. Matty Mumbles is our opponent. Let's play first. One-landers are probably not worth it here. We've hit a few more one-landers than I thought we would this challenge. Let's go ahead and mulligan this. This is a lot better. We'll go ahead and keep this. I can probably get rid of the Anger. I could also just get rid of the Magus. You know what? Let's get rid of the Magus here. And let's lead with Scavenger Grounds. Maybe keep things a little more hidden than typical. I don't think it really benefits us any and all. But maybe they won't go fetch a basic. You know, maybe. Alright, round 7 here, underway. Blackleaf Cliffs for our opponent. That initial Chalice on 1 would have done some damage. All being said though, here they go. Probably ignores Anger and looks at Blood Moon or Ensnaring Bridge. Ends up taking the bridge. They don't know about Raminaut Ruins. We'll play our Mountain Pass turn. We'll see what they're gonna grab here. Blood Moon does currently, and now no longer, gets them off their lands. It's not a Lurrus deck, but it is appearing to be Rakdos, perhaps Rakdos mid-range. Thought seizes me, so here goes either Anger or Blood Moon. I presume a Blood Moon is going to be taken here. No, all right, we're completely fine with dealing with my Blood Moon. So Blood Moon we go. We'll see how impactful Blood Moon really is. My opponent ignored it twice here. They took an Anger, which is for smaller creatures. We have a Kroxa here. I think I can easily pitch Blood Moon, avoiding a Scourge possibly hurting us. No fear so far. The Simian Spirit Guide. I almost don't want to play this in case they have like an additional Kroxa. I really don't want to turn on a Scourge here. So we'll just hang tight here. See what else my opponent's got going on. Canyon. Seasoned Pyromancer. Alright. Discard and draw a few cards here. Obviously our Scavenger Grounds could have taken care of Kroxa. My opponent ditches a Liliana and a Lightning Bolt. Okay. We hit our own Seasoned Pyromancer. Not as valuable as my opponent's. But we'll take it, we'll take it. Get rid of Simian Spirit Guide. Top deck land and Anger. I'm gonna hold the land in case we do find ourselves against this Kroxa here. I'll at least get to Anger the board minus the Kroxa. We don't. They find a Blackleaf Cliffs here. 3 red, 1 black. Blood Moon's doing some things. I wonder if they top deck this after taking some of the cards. I think top decking or getting rid of Bridge and then getting rid of Blood Moon would have been, I think, smarter, but I don't know. Something's telling me they have a Scourge. That being said, if they had the Scourge, I think they should have Lightning Bolted us. Anywho, opponent's going to attack for some damage here. We're going to just chump block. Take 2, go to 18. This would be where they could play that Scourge and I can anger the gods it. Plays a Channeler instead. All right. Well, that's not a bad one here. Let's go ahead and play that bridge pass turn. Now, being in Rakdos colors, they could have something like K command to take care of the bridge. We don't want that, obviously, to happen. Channeler is going to allow them to really start digging heavily for answers, which is not great for us. Not great. Looks like we're going to get a double attack here with the elementals. We're going to go down to 16. No actions from us. 2 bolts are in the yard, so that's kind of good for us. Not as much could hit, say, Chandra or Karn. Hazaret. All right. Well, let's start digging. We need an answer for Hazaret. Don't need to care about this anger here. We need to win quickly or deal with Hazaret. Okay. Pass the turn. I think I got this. I don't know. I'll check. Channeler discards a Bloodstained Mire, showing themselves 2 lands. We have 1 land in hand. I do need a Pithing Needle to get rid of the Hazaret killing us. 1, 2. I think I can just safely just not use Bone Crusher just yet. There's Karn. So Karn is what we needed. Karn, downtick, Pithing Needle. And play it. Because this is going to kill me slowly and painfully. Too bad I don't have a Spyglass this one time. Alright, Pithing Needle here, naming Hazaret, I think. I don't think I want to turn off Channeler. As much as the Channeler is going to be a pain for us, we have ways to kill a Channeler. So, naming Hazaret here. Karn's at 3. A little bit of a dangerous place to be at. It's all good, though. Uses Channeler here, exiling and getting a Seasoned Pyromancer. They'll probably end up playing that. And does play this. The last card they discard here is a Mountain and draws 2 fresh cards. Two-mana Dreadbore getting rid of Karn. Although that's disappointing, it's not the worst case. We have Pithing Needle keeping Hazaret in check. I don't expect any attacks here for our opponent currently. And I think we're just going to hang tight here. I would love to get an Anger the Gods, Anger, or a secondary Bone Crusher. That would give me the option to get rid of the Channeler here. We're not really in danger of 2 elemental tokens killing us at this point. Finding our own Chandra too wouldn't be bad. Chandra downtick Channeler could probably be worth it. Alright, what else we got here? I'm sure they'll use this to keep digging. And they do. Gets rid of a Blood Moon. Surprise, surprise. Swamp and Polluted Delta. Nothing frightening here. There is the Swamp. The Swamp can bring back Kroxa. In this case, I probably just pitch the Bone Crusher. Ah, all right. We play Channeler, and we're not going to get Kroxa back. That's totally fine with us. Carp. Top of the library for us is a the Chandra. All right, so this is the problem that we run into with Rakdos. We end up getting too many channelers, and from there, you're not able to really close the game out because you don't draw 2 cards at a time. I'm gonna go ahead and play Chandra here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just go up for damage to put them to 15. Doesn't really matter what I skip over here. We do find a Bone Crusher Giant, which would help kill a channeler. I'm gonna probably just say no and take them to 15. This is worth 10 points if we can get Chandra to an emblem status. We'll see though. We'll see. I'm not sure what we're worried about other than a K command killing the bridge. All right, they're going to pitch whatever it was they drew. It's a fatal push. They find a braid and Thoughtseize. Oh no! A braid is what we're worried about. All right, this is a pretty easy, a braid on the bridge. Okay, we have a lot of things that can attack us now. Let's see where everything goes. Hazard obviously is going to probably go towards us. Nope, goes towards Chandra. All right, that's an easy chump. This is going towards Chandra. This is going towards Chandra. So block, block, block. Kill, sorry. Chandra's going to take 1, 2, 3. It looks like. Block, block. And then we will go ahead and stomp. Not bad for us. We get to use Chandra again. Got to find another bridge if possible. All right, all the chumps happen here. Chandra is at 2. We get 2 draws here looking for bridge. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 on board does kill us currently, and this Crocs is going to get us to 13. Now they decide to play it. I can block one thing if I do have something that's a dead card here. Definitely looking for bridge. We'll take a Karn as well. Here we go. Top deck is a bridge. Bone Crusher. All right. Bone Crusher's interesting. I can shoot Seasoned Pyromancer and play. If I do that, if I shoot, play, we can block, take 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So at that point, we're just dead. We do have Seasoned Pyromancer tokens, though, that I could do as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I could do is Seasoned Pyromancer and just play this Bone Crusher Giant. This doesn't quite kill me. So if I do that, let's just assume I do that and I have 3 blockers and can pitch this. I take 0, block, 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 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They probably throw some at Chandra. Do we get another turn if I do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2. But then I don't have something to pitch to Croxa. Let's go ahead and make mana here. And let's play the Bone Crusher out. And then we'll wait on the Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. This is kind of risky, but I think it gives me the same number of turns. And if they go more at me than at Chandra, we might have the mana from Chandra as well. Bit risky here. Not sure the result really changes too much. This opens us up to a little bit of removal. But that's just how it's going to have to be. A little bit of removal could kill us. Really depends on this top deck here. Opponent's going to combat. Not to mention they could just throw something with Hazard, something we didn't calculate in. All right, obviously we're going to put Seasoned Pyromancer tokens in. Bone Crusher is going to be pitched for 0 damage. We chomp, and trade, I guess technically. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but Pithy Needle keeps that in check. If I do Bone Crusher over here, that's not as good. We'll go ahead and do a Channeler here. Needing a bridge, we do get that extra turn with Chandra that we talked about. If it's a Bolt, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, we don't die to that either. All right, so we get a turn here with an active Chandra, so extra mana in case we need that. Not sure where we would particularly need that. There you go. This is the best blocks I can present. And this does not have trample, thankfully. Needing bridge. Already seen 2 bridges and already seen 1 Karn. We have 2 Karns to hit and 1 bridge. Not entirely sure there is any other outs that I'm aware of. Even Anger and then Uptick Anger doesn't get there because they have Hazoret. Top of the library is a Blood Moon. Second look. It's a Gemstone Caverns. We'll go ahead and concede. Seasoned Pyromancer creates 2. We can block, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And my opponent takes us down. Apparently we were going to flood out. All right, so Rakdos mid-range is going to be difficult because they're going to have Abrades and K-Commands, things of this nature. I think I'm going to have to look at maybe being a little more aggressive. They have a lot of red in their list. We did see Liliana, we do see Kroxa. I'm not sure that I need all the Maguses though. These could be converted to Rabble-Masters to be quicker. Probably don't even need this Anger. We probably just need to hang tight with what we have and give it a shot. This is probably a difficult matchup for us just because they line up really nicely against some of our lock pieces. And Blood Moon's kind of been blanked. Because we're more on the Blood Moon plan, it just gives us a bit of a disadvantage game 1. Game 2 and game 3 even out, but my opponent obviously has the advantage here. We'll look to be a little more aggressive with perhaps Rabble-Master. Try to get those chalices on perhaps 1 and 2. And we'll see if we can lock them out with a Karn the Great Creator. Here we go. Let's play first. A bunch of 1-landers. Let's go ahead and mulligan. All right, we will keep this. It's not fast. Has some things to do here. We'll get rid of a gemstone and begin our journey. See what happens. My opponent did Thoughtseize away a bridge the last time. We'll see if they have that Thoughtseize again. Blood Moon looking a little bit anemic once again. We'll see. Opponent mulligans to 5 and keeps 5. Both of us having to drop a few cards here at the beginning of the game. Bloodstained Mire. This could easily just fetch a basic, obviously. And does so. A basic Swamp. Inquisition Thoughtseize here. If they have a follow-up Inquisition or Thoughtseize, I almost would tell them to take Seasoned Pyromancer, just because that's going to generate some tokens. Once again, they do take our bridge, though, unfortunately for us. All right. Land and go. Here we go again. Inquisition into Thoughtseize once more. Take Seasoned Pyromancer this time. Obviously, Blood Moon's not as strong here. They did keep a 1-lander. Interesting. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and put a Chalice on 1 and pass turn. This is interesting that they've kept a 1-lander. I've at least got a few lands. We'll see if they top deck that land, and they do. Polluted Delta allows them to play around Blood Moon if they want to. They do decide red mana is necessary. Shock's in here and gets a Channeler. All right, I have an Anger to clear this. I think that's good. We'll go ahead and clear. I don't want them digging any further than that. See what else is up here. I'd love to get a Chalice on 2. Seems like it would be relatively strong. Secondary Channeler. Top of the library is a land. We'll happily get a Chalice on 2. Blood Moon, obviously the last card we're playing here, as it has very little value to us at the moment. All right, Chalices on 1 and 2. Question is, do they have a K command? And if not, will bridge be enough? It'll be risky because Hazoret still currently kills us. We'll see. Bloodstained Mire here, getting that next Swamp. They're good for Liliana if they have it. And they do. Pithy Needle, Liquid Metal Coating are ways to interact with Liliana, other than a fast and aggressive board. Chandra would be a good top deck here, I think. Opponent attacks for 1. Down to 19. Can we beat a Liliana? Play our land and pass. We do have Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. If my opponent's not paying attention to our graveyard here, we may get lucky. Get to attack Liliana. Keep Liliana a bit in check. We'll see. Maybe they go digging with the Channeler, trying to get a Croxa into play soon. Would be a shame if they did that. Channeler is countered. Chalice does work, opponent, I promise. Attacks. At end step, we'll do the Seasoned Pyromancer because it looks like they don't necessarily want to uptick. Oh, they did. They put a Croxa into the bin. Get our tokens. And a Braid or a Chandra would be super nice here. Neither. Land and attack. At least we keep Liliana a little bit at bay here. A Stomp works too now because a Stomp after attacking would kill. It depends if they do get a instant or sorcery that they're not going to cast due to these. Then this Channeler will grow to become a 4/4 and be only killable by Chandra. My opponent does not attack us. All right, I could put a Chalice on 3. Would stop a K command, but it also stops... kind of stops me as well. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on 2 as well. I think we're not gonna worry about Liliana too much here. I'm gonna just pass the turn. Extra Chalice on 2. If they have the K command, they can't quite get rid of it for a Braids. It's about the only reason to have that Chalice on 2. Putting it on 3 is just not a good idea here. Opponent pitches a Kalitas here, looking for, I don't know what. They end up hitting a Seasoned Pyromancer, which they can't cast, and a Pithy Needle, which they can't use either. This doesn't grow. We still have an opportunity to potentially get rid of this. They keep the Seasoned Pyromancer here. The question is, do they go up with Liliana or not? We do have 2 elementals that can attack them now. I'm thinking they might have another Liliana based on how they're playing. All right, Liliana down to 1. Play our land and pass turn. Seasoned Pyromancer would probably be our best draw now that I have 7 lands. All right, opponent, what do you got? And what are you not using Liliana for? Pitches a Pithy Needle. I'm really surprised they didn't keep this. Finds themselves an Engineered Explosives here. They can put that on 0 and really open the door now. Well, maybe Chalice on 0 would have been the better play instead of a Chalice on 2. Top deck's a land here. We'll attack Liliana. See if we can get rid of that. Engineered Explosives pops here. And the doors are open. I will play my 8th land for the game. Channeler finds themselves a Seasoned Pyromancer and an Abrade again. No lands. Inquisition pitched here, so this is now a 4/4. Rabblemaster is an okay top deck, getting rid of Liliana, unless they uptick here. They haven't in a while, so... Where are my lands? Asks my opponent. And where are my spells? Go ahead and put a Scavenger Grounds here. It's decent. It gets this to be smaller for us. I think I just have to pop this now. Fear of a Croxa showing up is just too great. This also exiles our Chalices for future use for us. So my opponent has no lands and I have too many. I don't want to offer them one. Apparently they still are missing. Oh, they hit a land. Bolton Inquisition. You're silly. Why would you do that? Play that land. You wanted the land. I guess they don't want it anymore because Croxa. Well, there's a bridge. I don't want to lose it to Liliana, so bridge in play. Go ahead. Now what? Activates Channeler again, pitching Thoughtseize, finds Mountain and Bloodstain Mire. Mountain will be played. And it goes. They are up to 4 mana now. What can we play at 4? Other Kalitas? Hazoret? Oh my gosh, it's Hazoret. Liliana can now go up to 2. Looking for Bone Crusher Giant here. Alright, well, I get to dig for it. Thankfully, I had a spell, finally. Seasoned Pyromancer digging 2 more deep. Rabble Masters, huh? Rabble Masters actually kind of cute. It's a shame I don't get to play the second one. This will attack Liliana. It's an interesting scenario we have. We have this that's discarding cards and this that discards cards. We also have Liliana. My opponent has way not enough card draw. Any lands are going to turn into 2 damage, though, unless they think they want to go get something different. They might be looking for a way to get rid of Bridge at this point. Pitches a Liliana here, doing 2, and we're at 13. Opponent may or may not uptick. They do. Rabble Master to the bin. Well, this keeps Liliana closer. We will go ahead and slam this out as well. Because we'll have Rabble Master tokens here, and as we get a little bit wider and wider, we have that small chance that we can like swing around the creatures and hit the Liliana. That being all said, we've got to get rid of this Hazoret at some point, and it's got to be probably soon, getting rid of it being a Pithing Needle. My opponent has gone over 1 Abrade here. I haven't seen a K command, so I'm thinking Abrade is their action spell. Blood Chiefs the Rabble Master to keep this in check, and upticks with Liliana. Not a bad turn. Definitely a pretty reasonable thing to do here. Top of the library is our own Simian Spirit Guide. We'll cast and pass turn. Like I said, we are going to die to this in 7 turns if we can't get a Pithing Needle. Come on, Karn, where are you at? Karn downtick, Pithing Needle, Karn downtick. Then we have to deal with Liliana too. It might be Liquid Metal Coating if we do that. Try to kill the lands. Hazoret ditching Dreadbore. We're down to 11. Uptick with the Liliana? The answer is no. They forgot. Oh, no. It's still their turn. They're good. They're good. I was like, whoa, wait. Anger the Gods is a no good one here. I'm going to just pass the turn. They can get rid of this for me. They can get rid of this one for me. Alright, I think my opponent's got a good chance of winning this game. We will see, though. We will see. I hold the card, and they're sitting here going, why? Because I don't want to lose my creatures. That's why. I need chump blockers in case you can kill this. That's why. Has given my opponent some pause here, though. We're in a great position if I can find Karn. Chandra wouldn't be that bad either. Chandra is maybe able to race this. This is 6 turns. Chandra, depending on what we top deck after the emblem, might be a thing. We'll see. My opponent has found the Abrade. All right. Are we going to go combat? We discard the Anger. Now we need a bridge. This is looking sketchy. Some attacks here. We'll happily trade off Channeler and we're going to get some tokens here. We have enough damage coming back to kill the Liliana. I do like that. Love to see a bridge here. Kill Liliana and play a bridge. We can even do it with Karn. Okay. Whoa. Alright, combat, attack, Liliana, Liliana gone. Karn into bridge. All right. I suppose we could have left one back here in case they kill this. This was maybe a mistake by attacking all. Got a little excited with the attack all button. All right, so where do we go from here? Just don't kill this. Dread, all right, well, you know, Dreadbore's a thing. Another Karn, please. I'll take Chandra here. Chandra's not a bad one here. Chandra, uptick damage. We'll play a Karn if I find one. No Karn. Pass turn. I don't mind having all my blockers this time around. Next turn I can attack with 3 things and get in for the additional 2. This raises Hazard ever so slightly. 3 mana, it's a Liliana. Down-ticking does things. Up-ticking does things. Ritual's not what I'm interested in. Uptick for damage. There's Karn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think here I could go get Pithy Needle and shut off Liliana. I'm not as afraid of the Hazoret, even though the Hazoret and I are racing a little bit. Pithy Needle and name Liliana of the Veil. Hazoret's card negative here. I should at least let this stick to see what I name. Definitely don't like Liliana of the Veil. Things get super strange. I'm going to wait a turn before attacking. This may bite us if they get like a Seasoned Pyromancer and have an extra blocker. But if they don't, I'll have 2 cards and can throw my Simian Spirit Guide in the mix as well. I could also make a giant Walking Ballista. There's a part of me wondering how long I can draw this out to make it difficult game 3 for our opponent based on time. We were going to draw a Chalice, and we would have upticked with Chandra to get a Ritual, downtick with Karn for Walking Ballista, cast potentially Splice. We'd add a lot. We got there though. All right. So we're on the draw now. We're able to take care of a Hazoret and team. I think I like Bone Crusher better than a Braid. Bone Crusher becomes a body that I care about. I could probably drop 1 Blood Moon for an Abrade as just an extra removal for that Magnetic Channeler. Scavenger Grounds did well too. Maybe I do that just so that I don't accidentally totally Blood Moon the Scavenger Grounds. We'll make that small adjustment here. We're having to figure out how to deal with the Rakdos list. 6 minutes on the clock for my opponent. A fairly aggressive and stellar hand here. We're going to go ahead and keep. We're either Chalicing on 1 or Blood Mooning on turn 1. It is about time. Let's go. Bloodstained Mire here. And immediately cracks this for a basic swamp. And a Thoughtseize. What would you like to take? This might take a moment to think. It might be Chalice. It may be Blood Moon. Maybe they hate Bone Crusher. Now we do know about Engineered Explosives. Let's keep that in mind. And they got plenty of Dreadbores as well. Chalice on 2 might be more important, and a Chalice on 0, leaving ourselves with a Pithy Needle option. They don't have any colorless mana. They take Bone Crusher Giant. Alright, do we throw this to 2 here because I'm just going to work up to Blood Moon? If I do, I have to wait 1 more turn here. I kind of like the idea of a Chalice on 2 over everything else we've seen. Let's pass. I think the Chalice on 2 can do a lot more damage. Obviously, another Inquisition or Thoughtseize gets to start stripping our hand apart, but if that's all they're doing here, they're going to have to work hard to beat us in 5 minutes. All right, they do Inquisition us. I presume Chalice is going, or maybe one of these ritual spells. They have ignored Blood Moon most of the time. They end up giving us the Blood Moon. Interesting. Let's go ahead. This is Liliana. This is rough. We can put a Chalice on 2 here. If it's Liliana, I have to get rid of what? Rabblemaster? But Chalice on 2 is going to like really slow down my opponent. I think I'm going to go ahead and play a Rabblemaster here instead, because then I'll have 2 bodies, and if it is Liliana, this is our way to interact with a Liliana. If it's a Channeler, that line is slow enough that I can then follow this up with Chalice on 2. So here's the 3rd land, and what are we looking at? Okay, Seasoned Pyromancer is actually not that frightening here. Now I can go ahead and get the Chalice safely to 2. Liliana and a Kroxa hit the bin, so Chalice on 2 stops Kroxa here if they get another land. Ooh, why do this to me? Why do this to me? All right. I'm gonna go with they don't have another Liliana. No way. Chalice on 2 to defend bridge from Abrades. Kroxa. Other nasty creatures. In with the goblins. Pass turn. 4 minutes on the clock for our opponent. 15 on ours. We have plenty of time to think if we want to. Seasoned Pyromancer kills a goblin and they take 1 damage. Good luck, opponent. What's your top deck? Just don't be an Inquisition, Thoughtseize, or Liliana. We're asking for a lot here. Bolts, Rabblemaster. Totally fine with that. Attacks for 4. Yeah, you get in there, opponent. We're going to slow this game down to a grinding halt. Engineered on 0. Well, that gets rid of Chalice. Let's go ahead and play down a bridge here and pass turn. We're on the defense now. They can get rid of our Chalice, which could open up Abrades. It's going to be rough. Kills Chalice. Kills their tokens too, by the way. And the Seasoned Pyromancer cannot attack. We have another land here. It's Blackcleave Cliffs, which puts us in sideways. They don't get Kroxa immediately. They do abrade our bridge, so they did have it. And they'll be attacking here for 2. They need another bridge, it looks like. Kroxa is available. Scavenger Grounds would be fine. Land drops not. We'll cast Simian Spirit Guide and pass turn. We'll take 3 when Kroxa comes into play, but I want a blocker in case we need a block with. Here we go. Can we beat Kroxa? Need another bridge. This one's coming down to the wire. I think my opponent has enough unless this top deck is exactly bridge. Can't even be Karn, I don't think. Well, I guess Karn and I can block here. They'll attack me for 2. I will not block in case I do get Karn. That is about my only out here. Bridge or Karn? That is definitely not it. Pass turn. They'll attack with Kroxa. I'll block. If they have a bolt or something here, they could bolt and attack me for 8. Fatal Push. Eliminates. Well, I get 1 more turn here. Needs to be bridge. Bridge or bust. Top of the library is 8. Uh-oh. Channeler, okay. Bridge? Well, it's an abrade. Kill the Channeler, but my opponent Rakdos mid-range takes us down. Very close games here. Lots of ways to interact with our artifacts, specifically killing my Chalices with engineered explosives. Very interesting to see the engineered explosives in, but I suppose that's one of their few ways to get around Chalice. It wasn't going to get up to 3. We never saw the Triome that we did play in one of our Mardu lists. So it does look like my opponent does get there, though. Long game, game 2, but game 3 they do finish us out. Not a whole lot coming for us, unfortunately. Could we have done something different instead of Blood Moons? Anger, maybe? Maybe bring the bridge in? It's tough to say because having the Karn and getting the bridge is definitely a nice play. Difficult to say whether or not our sideboard was completely correct. That all done and said for, though. That was match 7. I believe there's one more here, so we'll probably be playing one final one here. Currently 3 and 4, I believe. So let's see if we can even it up, make it 4-4 on the day. Wouldn't be a bad record. Being back in the challenges here with Red Prism. And just like that, we were actually probably the last match here. We're going to go for a 4-4 here. We got to win. Maybe we can be on the play here as our final matchup. Red Prison in the challenge. Been a while since we played the challenge, and we've seen some really good lists today. It's been a good test on Red Prison to see if Red Prison is still viable. And I think it is. It's very fringe viable, but it is viable. There's definitely some nuanced decks that we're going to have to watch out for. Boil is probably the easiest thing to cut from the sideboard, getting something like Damping Matrix in or something else to stop some of the nasty things we've run into. Round 8, though, final round here for the challenge. Red Prison. Let's get into our match. And here we go. We're on the play. I love it already. Let's play first. Obosh. Well, Obosh. So prowess list. Bridge is excellent, but Blood Moon is awful. We're going to mulligan this hand looking for Chalice. We find a Chalice. I can put that on 1. We can get rid of the Magus here. We'll have a Ritual into Seasoned Pyromancer. This could be good. We'll go ahead and keep. We know we're going to blank turn 1 and probably turn 2 for our opponent by doing this hand. Looks good. Let's see if we can beat the aggressive deck of the format. We will keep. We'll get rid of a Magus. Definitely don't need that. Play our land and Chalice on 1. I believe so. 29 people. Put it up 128 for 7 rounds. All right, Chalice of the Void here on 1. Go ahead, opponent. Good luck. Our opponent's friendly too, chatting with us. I'll probably end up scooping if it comes to it. We'll see if they do. Maybe this is frustrating enough that they scoop. We'll see. We're here to play some fun Magic. That's the goal here. We'll pass back to them, no land. Obviously kept a 1-lander, but being that it was Obosh, we knew we wanted a Chalice, and we did find it. I think this is fine to Desperate Ritual, Seasoned Pyromancer. We put 4 power on the battlefield. We end up wheeling into another Chandra and a land. Actually, some of the best Seasoned Pyromancer antics we've done all stream long. Opponents found their Seasoned Pyromancer here. And ditches probably some 1-drops. Does so, Lightning Bolt and Soulscar Mage. We're at a race to get into Obosh, it seems. Well, we end up getting to our Chandra, which is nice. We'll go up for damage here and pass turn. Bone Crusher Giant would have been nice. All on defense here as well. Most of their interactive spells are at 1. This is kind of a gap, along with Light Up the Stage. Sometimes there's things like Skewer and other nuance cards. We'll definitely be defending Chandra, though, and hoping that Obosh doesn't come down and slam our face in. I think I'm good with a block here. Seasoned Pyromancer to Seasoned Pyromancer. I can always use Chandra to get some tokens and just be very defensive here. New Seasoned Pyromancer. That's pretty good for them. More 1-drops to the yard. Flame Slash and a Monastery Swift Spear. So the answer is yes. All right, we hit a Gemstone Caverns. Don't mind that. Wouldn't mind some more blockers here. I could find an Anger. I'm gonna go ahead and put some more blockers into play though, and just be on the big time defense here. Opponents found their 5th land, meaning they have their Seasoned Pyromancer tokens online. Probably gonna just trade out elemental tokens when they attack here. I don't think I need to worry about this, and I do have Angers in the deck. So block, 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 block. Keeping Chandra as healthy as possible. Down to 4. Puts Obosh into hand. A Bridge wouldn't be bad. Bridge is actually relatively good against an opponent like this. Raiming out Ruins here, upticking with Chandra, finding another mountain and passing the turn. Now they might be playing Bone Crusher Giant as well. Bone Crusher Giant is definitely a way that they can reach over our bridge. So we'll see if that becomes an issue. This is 4 damage into Chandra. Chandra's going to 1. There's a Magus. Don't really want that. Uptick. Simian Spirit Guide I don't really want either. We'll play Magus and pass turn. We are in trouble here. We do need that bridge. Otherwise, this is going to be a ton of damage. They'll have to send both creatures at Chandra to kill it. So we may just hang tight with our Magus of the Moon here. Yeah, it will die, so we're just going to hang tight here with Magus. No real reason to defend Chandra when it's going to die. Opponent's going to put something in, light up the stage. We have a Lava Dart and a Blood Moon. Not a lot of value in those cards. Cast a Lava Dart in case they need some prowess in the future. I like that. And plays the Blood Moon. I mean, why not? All right. Find ourselves a Karn the Great Creator. Down tick here. We're going to go get our bridge and pass turn. Opponent shouldn't have any way to really make us discard this bridge, so it should be safe. Them attacking with both of things, it's just not something I want to be dealing with. So, Karn's going to die here. Probably 100%. But luckily, I'll have this bridge. Now, as we're approaching here to what's probably going to be the end of game 1, my opponent's going to be bringing in probably 3 to 4 Shattering Sprees. They play 3 to 4 Relics, 3 to 4 Shattering Sprees, and just other junk. So that's going to be how they kill us here in game 2 and game 3. Game 1, they might be, because they're in the challenge, play 1. We'll see. See some Pyromancer tokens here. Just got to see. Assuming that they continue to play, they have a way to get around this bridge, or they believe they can do enough damage upstairs somehow. Light up the stage, Firebolt, and light up the stage. I assume light up the stage will be recast here. Digging. That's countered. Chalice. Point. Trigger. Countered. New light up the stage. There's a Bone Crusher Giant. So here's the way they're going to try to beat us. Bunch of Bone Crusher Giants here, shooting us with stomps and killing us that way. Firebolt continues to fill up the graveyard here. I will take a Seasoned Pyromancer here, because if I get a land and... I was going to say and a Chalice, we'd be good. No land Chalice, unfortunately. We'll just pass. I will not allow these to attack, by the way. That would be detrimental. Our next Chalice needs to be on 2 to stop Bone Crusher Giants. This is 4 damage to my face. Never mind, they kill Magus. A little confused by that. Plays Bone Crusher Giant. Plays a Seasoned Pyromancer. Ditching. Blood Moon and Lava Dart. If there was ever a question if Chalice is doing what it needs to, the answer is absolutely. I'm gonna leave myself with a 3 open. I like another bridge. I like another Blood Moon, Seasoned Pyromancer, you know. I like my 3 drops just as much as they do theirs. Magus of the Moon here for our prowess friend. Looks like we're just looking for a win condition at some point. They just dropping all their stuff off. Karn the Great Creator here. From here, probably just okay to go ahead and pick up a Walking Ballista. And go ahead and play the Walking Ballista. My bad. My bad. It's been a long day at the challenge. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. I will put a Chalice on 3. This should like blank the rest of whatever they're doing. At this point, I just need a Chandra. Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, Chalice on 3, and just hope that my opponent does not have Shattering Spree main decked. We'll eventually get that Walking Ballista back to fix our mistake here. We're gonna cast everything into these Chalices. Don't worry about it. It's what we gotta do. So here we can go down. We'll go get a Tormod Crypt. Cast this. We'll get rid of our graveyard here. This will allow me to get the Karn the second time here. We can put it on 1, 2. I really need a few more lands if I'm honest. So we'll go up here. We're just gonna get that Walking Ballista eventually and be able to use that to kill them. I think my opponent realizes this. As soon as I draw a land, we'll do that. Wouldn't mind a Chandra. That would speed things up. F6 back and forth. There's our land, we're good. We'll go get that Walking Ballista. Cool, we'll make a 4/4 here. It's just a few more turns away now. Looks like my opponent's gonna make me do this though. Gotta remain empty every turn. Go ahead and go down one more time. We'll pick up that Darksteel Citadel for those that always like to say, hey, you should have that in your list. Doesn't aid with an extra pump here, but it does give Ballista up to 5/5. If they're ever able to kill this, I still have Chandras to finish this game out. Make sure we don't accidentally uptick on one of our chalices. Up, up, up we go. One more land here so I can triple pump a turn. Bolt per turn just takes 12 mana. We're not really losing any time on our clock as well. We can play pretty quickly here. There we go. Uptick here. Ballista do this several times. Ballista's at 10. One more round here should be good. Click, 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 click. There we go. We'll pump this several times here. I'm not going to do it this turn just in case they have a way to gain life. So we'll do it next turn. I respect the attempt to make the time go by quickly here. Yield to this trigger. We're going to pump this twice. And then we're going to start saving those targets and removing the counters. There we go. Down they go. All right, so we've beaten Red Prowess once here. Like I said, we're going to have to worry about some shattering sprees. We can definitely monitor that, though. Best cards to continuously have in our hand will be bridges and chalices as we can. We'll see what ends up happening here in game number 2. Got a braids, angers, definitely bringing these in. Can get rid of some blood moons. Happy to get some rabble masters here. More blood moons. Magus can come out here. One of the few matchups that I would entertain the idea of playing bridge main, but I think we're just going to stay the course here, see if we can take out this prowess opponent, call it a day, not bringing bridge in ever in the challenge. Here we go. Let's see how effective Chalice on 1 is this time. Can we beat a bunch of shattering sprees? That will be the question. Turn 1, Rabble Master. You know what? Maybe they kept the hand with 2 shattering sprees because they're worried. Let's just have some fun. Swift Spear here attacks for 1. We are also on the draw, so this game is going to be tough anyway. Turn 1 Rabble Master, attack for 1, pass turn. Let's fight. Do they have a stomp? They do. Bye-bye Rabble Master, in for 2. Gonna pass turn here, leaving my goblin back. Protection. Sunbaked Canyon here. My opponent will probably attempt to connect here. We'll allow the connection. Allow them to light up the stage rather than play Bone Crusher Giant into play. They do play Bone Crusher though. We'll go ahead and Simeon Spirit Guide. Chandra down tick here. Kill Bone Crusher, pass turn. Goblin's gonna be on defense here. We do need the mana from this Chandra to play this Chandra. Currently, my opponent's probably trying to worry about our bridge potential. Lava Dart shows up here. Makes this a 2-3. Do they sacrifice? No, they fire off another Lava Dart on our Goblin. In for 3. More if they have a Bolt. Soulscar Mage. Let's find an Anger the Gods off the top, which will do not a whole lot. Season Pyromancer. Gotta get some defenders. Oh, I see. New Swift Spear. We're going to defend everything if we can. Pithing Needle. Name Chandra or Karn. I did bring in my one of a braid, so we've got this covered. I'd love to anger them double lava darting, thinking they're good, and then anger them again. I'm going to block everything. That's the goal. Defend the life total. This game's going to be a very interesting one. I want this so bad. Let's do it. Let's do it. Chalice on 1. Here we go. Risking it all. Bolts me. I'm down to 10. Oh boy. 0 cards in hand. Land played. Cantrips? No. Obosh to hand. Attacks me for some damage. Down to 7. Anger. Had the F6 button. Clicked. I doubt they use the lava darts, honestly. So we have Obosh in hand and an unknown card here. Sunbaked to Cantrip. Extra Fiery Islet. And does nothing. Now we're looking like for Chandra or something. Looking for like a Chandra. Simeon Spirit Guide in play here. My opponent does have Obosh in their hand. Scary this is. Stomps me with Bone Crusher Giant. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is closer than it should be. Bone Crusher Giant into play here. Chandra to kill Bone Crusher Giant here. Swing for 2. They won't attack me with something hasty. We're at 5. This game is close. Mountain. We have Obosh online. Pillage. Pillage using a lava dart to shoot Chandra. Does so. Seasoned Pyromancer. We know it's Obosh in hand. Ooh, those are good draws. Good draws. All right. In for 2. Obosh, lava dart over here. What do we got, opponent? Oh no, they're casting something. Seasoned Pyromancer gets rid of Obosh. That's probably okay, honestly. Okay. Firebolts me. We're down to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Firebolt and then a lava dart. Oh, it feels terrible. Play Chandra here. Up for damage, just for the memes. Up for damage for the memes. We'll pass the turn. Maybe they won't see the line. Maybe they won't see the line. It's a firebolt and then sacrifice lava dart. It's 3 damage upstairs. Thinking about it. What could go wrong? Firebolts me to 1 and lava dart. Do it. Click this button. You got it. Lava darts. All right. 1 and 1 here. Final match here. Just submit it back. This game is a race and a half. Chalice on 1. We'll see if we can find that. We almost got there. It was pretty impressive, to say the least. People saying red prison isn't a thing. Here we go. We get to play first. Do we just mulligan to find the chalice and hope they don't have this shattering spree? They didn't that time. If we would have mulliganed for a chalice, it would have been a different game. Ho ho. All right, we're gonna keep this. No chalice here, but Bone Crusher Giant can usually kill something here on turn 1, or sorry, turn 2. I then have Rabblemaster or Bridge, and I have a Chandra. This is not bad. It's gonna be an interesting one though. 7 versus 7, here we go. Final match, final game. Challenge, 2020 December 19th. Doing the things here. See what their opening hand is. Pithy Needle, naming Karn in the dark, or Chandra. Names Chandra in the dark, ladies and gentlemen. In the dark. Ugh. Why would you do that to me, opponent? Firebolts me. And lights the stage. This Chandra is useless. I have 1 abrade. Oh boy. We'd have more abrades if we were playing a more normal list, if you will. We'll go ahead and stomp here, and I'm probably going to just slap down the Bone Crusher Giant. Oh, another one. Playing Bone Crusher Giant because it hurts them if they go after this. That way Rabblemaster doesn't need a bolt. They don't do anything, so that's interesting. My opponent's kept a Firebolt Pithy Needle hand. They Flame Slash me. Let's Rabblemaster this turn. Nice. Main phase stopped by our opponent. Appreciate that. Now what? My opponent's gone all control on me, and I don't particularly like it. I don't like it at all. Pillaging away a land. I suppose they brought in pillages because Blood Moon's terrible. 2 elementals, 2 seasoned pyromancers hit the bin here. We get our 3rd land. We'll just go ahead and anger the board here. This hand's looking really strained with these Chandras. I guess I can go ahead and play one when I have a chance and the shields are down. Firebolts me down to 16, just gives me the turn back. I suppose I'll play a Chandra here, but it doesn't do anything. Thank you. Just getting it out of hand so that my bridges are a bit more online. They won't fire anything at this. Stomps the Chandra. Okay. I will take that. Firebolts the Chandra. And plays this Bone Crusher back out. All right. I'm good with everything that just happened there. We'll play Bridge and pass turn. See very little reason to try to ritual out Bone Crusher Giant here when this is a 4/3. I'd rather take a stab at killing a small creature like this. Just like that. All right. We got some Firebolts over here that I'm a bit worried about. I think I'm gonna go ahead and clear the graveyard for us. And let's go ahead and play a Bone Crusher Giant. What am I looking for? A Braid, I suppose, for the Pithy Needle? I suppose I could find Karn and make this into a creature and go from there. Just gonna pay the most expensive things to keep ourselves around the bridge here. They fired a lot of damage at the Chandra earlier in this 3rd and final game. A little surprised by that. There's a Swift Spear. We know it's Obosh and 2 other cards. They do not attack. Let's go ahead and play a Magus down and pass turn. We got rid of those Firebolts, which is nice. That way when they do play the Obosh, they're not firing 4 damage lobs at my face. Just super important. Pillages away my bridge. Not the worst. I'm kind of glad they didn't go after a land. Definitely easy block here. Don't care about Chandra. Chandra can't be used. That Pithy Needle is brutal. Let's take 2 here off the Swift Spear. This opens up Light Up the Stage. They don't cast it. Play down a Simian Spirit Guide. I'm not sure I attack here. I'm very afraid of an Obosh being played and them just swinging back with Swift Spear doing a lot of damage. Need a new bridge, that's for sure. Kozilek's Return. It's a nice one. Extra Swift Spear here as well. A little backwards there. Could have attacked for an extra point. 3 damage in, we're at 11. Well, hope they don't draw a land for Obosh, and hope Chalice defends us enough. Land for Obosh. Obosh down. 4 damage in. Puts us to 7. Need a bridge. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Karn's too late. Karn's too late. Go get a bridge, but that will do it. That'll do it. Opponent gets us here, taking us down with the Obosh, the prowess. We didn't look for the Chalice. We played an interesting one, just throwing out our creatures. The Chandra, Pithy Needle blind there, pretty good. Opponent ends up taking us down, and that concludes our challenge. There you have it. I believe it's 3-5. My opponent concedes the match to us. They didn't need to do that. That puts us at 4-4 overall. And in either way, it was a blast to play the challenge here. Definitely have some final thoughts here on Red Prison, so we'll go to those next. We'll see you there. Red Prison in the challenge. It's been a little while. We played against Humans, Blue-White Control, Dredge, Titan, Humans, Heliod Combo, Rakdos Midrange, and Obosh Prowess. Of the list that we ended up beating, I believe we beat both of our human players. We ended up bleeding Blue-White Control on time as well, and that was it. I think we could have beaten the Rakdos Midrange. That one was close. And the Obosh Prowess one, we were probably okay to beat as well. Titan was probably not happy when my opponent decides to triple Celestial Purge us. And Heliod Combo is proving to be difficult for this list to battle against. The list in general is playing Bone Crusher Giant so that we can have a creature that is also removal, and in many cases that was beneficial, but also in many cases we would have preferred perhaps a Braid to kill something a little bit larger. Magnetic Channeler comes to mind, and a Walking Ballista. The list is interesting that we would have had probably a good shot there with our final matchup if my opponent didn't play just Pithy Needle and named Chandra, and there you go again. If we had the Bone Crusher Giant being just an Abrade, we probably have a good shot at beating that one. Using Chandra's uptick ability, we would have found that Karn earlier, found a bridge earlier, and possibly would have locked our opponent out. So, what am I saying? To me, Bone Crusher Giant's starting to slip out of favor. I would prefer to have something like Abrades, so you might start to see that come back in. I think 7 Moons is still fairly powerful, but in maybe a bigger and wider setting, not so much the leagues, you may want to drop this to 6 or even down to 5. This will be something we monitor, and we'll see what the results of the challenge are. Maybe have some suggestions or comments on one of our streams this coming week. Boyle did very little this time, but you know as well as I do, as soon as we pull that out, it will be a problem. And unlike most lists where we'll have maybe a second Torp Orb or a second, say, Tormod Crypt Relic or maybe Soul Guide Lantern, we played the Darksteel Citadel. At no point was this card really valuable to us, and so I would drop that for some more either Graveyard or ETB effect protection. The list does not have too much aggression, however, against our one blue-white control player. Although we won on time, it is very likely we could have top-decked a Ramunot Ruins. It makes me want a 4th Ramunot Ruins. I know this is a bit frustrating with damage that could be applied to us through the Ramunot Ruins, in that, you know, having 4 of these, it could be pretty bad against Burn or Prowess, but just keep that in mind. Maybe something to add there as well, just to hit those extra couple points of damage. We're finding that that sometimes is the difference between a win and a loss. Red Prison here, definitely holding its own. Is it top tier? Probably not, but is it there close to maybe that tier 2, tier 3? I think so. I think that's a safe spot for it right now. Definitely had a few 5-0s recently, so thought, hey, why not? Let's give it the challenge try. And we did. So there you have it. Red Prison in a challenge. Going 3-5-4-4, depending on how you would like to look at that. Maybe less if you don't like that timeout. Till next time, everyone. Take care. Have a good one. We'll see you on the streams. We'll see you in our next matches.